Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 46 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, the podcast where Keith makes a big deal about people not clapping and then he doesn't clap.
I was
Um,
distracted.
If you're wondering what that big long nose breath was right before I started talking, that was me watching Keith not do the thing. I'm joined by a whole gaggle of goose, a whole gander of goose, a whole flock of geese here. I'm just going to give everybody a second. Just introduce yourselves.
Big Keith here, as always.
Big Eddie.
And since they're not talking, we got Big Kevin, we got Big Minnie, and Big Nate this week. All joining us silently, but they will chime in when they're ready.
Yeah, I was patiently waiting my turn.
Sorry.
'Twas the night after Arnold in Columbus they strode, a gaggle of silly geese in muscle-bound mode, dressed in crew fashion, their spirits held high, post-festival feasting neath the city sky.
That's a true story. I was actually half expecting everybody to just say their name is Keith after us having fun outside of the restaurant.
Did I ruin the bit? That would have been good.
That would have been really funny. Hey, Tanner, tell me what's happening. Hi, I'm Big Keith. I'm like, all right. What's your name? I'm Brad. Now you're also Keith. You ruined the bit. Next.
Yeah, you powered through and made it. So I laughed my ass off that. That was really good.
What do you guys got drinking tonight?
I'll go first.
Yep.
So I'm drinking diet tonic water in my Lift Hard, Live Easy black silly pint because if you have a respiratory illness like a cold, then quinine is great for you. So
That's a good. Yeah, it's a good point. It is.
Well, I might need to get on that because that sounds like what I have right now. So I'm currently drinking some Gatorade, some orange Gatorade, Big Keith approved, and also be sipping on some NyQuil later.
yeah, I'll get some of that later too.
Shoot it.
Kevin's got that lean on him.
Got the scissor and lean.
Yeah, he's got the scissor. Yo, Kevin be tripping.
Minnie.
I have this entirely normal sized can of Ghost Orange Cream from the Arnold.
So because I was at the Arnold, I know how big that can is, but I think any one of us would say that looks like a normal size can in your hand.
It just makes him look like a little. I love this so much.
I was at the Arnold. I do know what he's talking about, but that is a normal size can. His hands are just that big.
Yeah, isn't that a 16 ouncer? Is that a pounder?
Yeah, full
That's
pounder.
a pounder.
That's a lot of caffeine for 8:40 p.m.
Hey, it's 7:40 here in the civilized part of the United States.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
It's 100 milligrams of caffeine in that can. That was crazy that they were just handing that out.
Not too bad. What, 100 milligrams?
Yeah.
Dude, they were handing out samples of that pre-workout that had 650 milligrams of stems in it.
Jeez.
Yep. I was gonna say 100 milligrams, nothing for what they had floating around there.
I've got another can of the poppy this week. I've got the ginger lime. It's pretty damn good, and I got a couple Mick Ultras to wash that down with since in honor of the Arnold week that I missed.
Oh shoot, my can's getting lost in the fire. I've got
Looks like a cherry Coke.
Cherry bubbly
Very bubbly.
in a drink
so
spotter light. In a Massonomics koozie, the lager koozie. I'm going to crack it for you. You won't hear it because of Zoom's compression, but oh well.
I heard it.
Fun story. I feel like it was becoming a long-running bit where every time I was on this show, I never had anything to drink because I never had time to get it. So I made sure to get something, and I ruined the bit. Cheers, boys.
I'm
There you
glad
go.
you got somebody. Wasn't even a Saturday.
I do think it's really funny that you think we have bits as if we plan anything.
Wasn't a Saturday. Hey, man. Only the real ones know that joke. What's everybody wearing? Speaking of Saturday.
Yeah. Got the bench heavy shirt, one of my favorites. I think they're all wearing that. Yeah, Big Eddie's rocking it as well.
I even got the Ben Chevy banner in the background of my
I
office.
see that. Love it.
I gotta let my coworkers know in my other Zoom meetings what's up.
I've got the weight is a number, heavy as a feeling OG shirt. Didn't get the new one at the Arnold because I don't need that many more shirts.
What was it? Was just on a different color, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's actually a different shirt. 'Cause I actually got it underneath here.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
more of a going out
Don't
shirt.
stop now, Kevin.
Got the small
nice.
chest logo on the front.
Oh, the
also-
hoodie, but it turned into a
I
shirt.
also got
Gotcha.
the hoodie going on too.
I dig it.
Do you think they just had like a lot of stock and they cut the sleeves and
Yeah,
hood off of the
I
hoodie?
could see that.
Same
Or do you
blank.
think it's a different blank?
I could see
That's the-
Tanner hiring Jake to like shave down the fabric so it's thinner.
There's a lot of blank talk at the Arnold.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of blank talk, that's for sure.
There was.
The fucking spider attacking my ammonia container. Yeah.
So,
The nerve. Minnie, what are you wearing?
I am wearing my good old classic Massonomics sumo pole shirt that was cut off by Karen for me last year. And let me just say, I have tried cutting off shirts in the past, and I just had Karen do it. And this is the only shirt that makes it look like I have any visible muscles.
Right. Yeah, we'll get into that because it's in my notes to talk about the Karen cut.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, so what, Nate? What?
I didn't get to say what I was wearing.
Who fucking cares? Go.
Oh, jeez. So tonight, boys, I am wearing.
Hey, can we swear on this?
Yeah, can we swear on this thing?
Well, I can.
If not, Nate's got a lot of editing.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do it. We got a champion long sleeve shirt is what I was wearing today at work. And I didn't want to take it off because I was nice and cozy down here in the basement. So as any good Massonomics person, I just threw a lift sticker on top of my champion shirt, or lift shirt
Nice.
on top of my champion shirt, and I made it a Massonomics long sleeve.
Is that from Tango Charlie?
No, this is an original.
It's from Huck Finn Barbell, right?
Yeah, this is
Charlie
the Huck
Tango.
Finn Barbell printed lift shirt. I'm also wearing the Lift Hard, Live Easy hat, the red one, the most controversial hat in Massonomics lore slash Strength Co lore that Grant more or less snookered me into buying. Shout out Grant. Convinced me that this was the last hat at the booth and I needed to have it. Last one in existence. I took it from the Strength Co booth, went to the Massonomics booth, and there were 10 sitting on their table. I was
Well, it might have been the last one at the Strength Co booth.
It was the last one at the Strength Co booth.
Because he just
The
gave
question
it
is,
to Tanner.
how much did he charge you for it at the Strength Co booth?
I don't want to answer that
More.
question.
It wasn't more than at the Massonomics booth.
I should have asked. Should have negotiated.
You
No,
told
at
me
Midwest-
They don't let you buy hats there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's part of the. That's why there were so many hats over the Massonomics booth. You can't buy them. But that's what I'm wearing. No wife shirt tonight.
Okay. Let's go to. Well, we got to get the staples out of the way, right? We got to get the every week thing. The Q&A episode, the one that they pretended happened after the Arnold.
Yeah, that was funny.
All right. I can't remember anything from it. There was a couple things where I was just shouting at the radio, and I was just like, "No, I want to answer that myself," and I don't remember any of it. So 5 Massonomics Gym iPod touches for some of the stuff I don't remember.
It was a good episode. I enjoyed whoever asked about the tug of war, and then they're kind of talking about if they were actually bigger than us or not. We're probably pretty close. I'm heavier than I want to be, and Joey's not a little guy, so I don't know. I think they definitely whoop us, and I'm sure as hell not going to play tug of war right before powerlifting meet. So, but it would be kind of funny. But for all that, just the fact that they talked about us and the two sister podcasts going up against each other, I got a kick out of that driving to work Monday. So yeah, 5 iPod Massonomics Gym iPod touches.
Well, there's a third sister. There's another sister podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. Me and Eddie was swung by while they were doing their on-set recording. But I ran away to go. What did I go and run away to do? Something.
Where did you go?
Oh,
You guys
yeah,
were
we
on,
went.
like, where'd you go?
In a weird scenario that you have to be at the Arnold to understand this sentence, we went and saw some guys taking a bath.
True story. That's a true story. I was with Joey when that happened.
It'll happen.
It's never been so confused.
The Arnold is lawless. That is going to be my thing for this entire episode. The Arnold is a lawless area inside Columbus, Ohio, where it doesn't matter. It's gonna happen. Yeah. So, who hasn't gone yet? Tell us what your ratings of the episode was.
Well, I'll go ahead and rate it. I had enjoyed a couple of the questions. I didn't get to get one in this time, but I did get a shout out from Tanner. One of the questions was what kind of questions do you want to answer? And they said, like that one that Kevin asked the one time, what's the best gauge of strength? Because that led to a lot of content. So I'm basically, one of the top 3 content producers at Massonomics right now. So, for that reason, 5 out of 5. Massonomics Gym, iPod touches.
Nice.
Eddie, what's up?
So I haven't listened to it yet. I got home at like 2 a.m. Monday morning from the drive, and it's been nonstop with work and then me getting sick and being in bed. So I haven't listened to it yet, but I asked a couple questions, looking forward to see if they asked any of them and answered them. I would say based on the previous experience of their episodes, I'd give them a 5. 5. 5. I don't know. I got brain fog back.
Massonomics Gym, iPod touches.
That's it. Yeah.
Eddie's just spiraling.
He's so tired. My poor man.
Yeah.
Eddie,
I don't know how long I'm going to make it.
Eddie, you can tap out at any time you need to go to bed. Buddy.
Yeah.
We're not going to keep you here.
You guys know.
Like,
I would.
Yep.
Go to bed whenever, man.
I kind of want to watch Eddie just fall asleep on stream.
Well, my goal is to finish this 1 liter of diet tonic water before I go to bed.
A whole and before you sleep?
Oh yeah.
Now, wait, before we go on, I heard 3 words that I don't know
hydrated.
how they go together.
Diet tonic.
I know tonic water, but how do you make diet water? Like,
So-
isn't tonic water just like bubbly water, but that's no flavor?
No,
You restrict its carbs.
no. Usually, tonic water has sweetener added to it.
Yep.
Really?
So you get. So this is actually how I got off Mountain Dew. My buddy introduced this to me, diet tonic water, and I don't have it up here, but like the Rose's sweet lime syrup. So you fill your cup all the way up with ice. You fill it up to the top with the diet tonic water. You put a splash of the lime syrup in it. It's delicious, and there's like no calories. And I can drink this all night and be completely happy compared to when I used to pound 2 liters of Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
So,
tonic water
I
does.
always keep these on stock.
Tonic water does traditionally have sugar or sweetener in it. It's soda water that does not.
Yes.
But here,
I
I
always thought it was the other way around.
no, I wanted to crack a joke about how we're just going to wait until Eddie is sock shoe and into the microphone.
Yeah.
Do we really want to do any of these like
No, it
generic
doesn't
things,
matter.
or should we just like
Doesn't
jump in and
matter.
reminisce about the Arnold for a bit?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are basically Arnold topics. They're just in general topics. So yeah, Kevin, you want to hit us with a Massonomics sponsor, everybody?
Yeah, sure.
Before he does that, I would like to state for the record that everyone did give it 5 Massonomics iPod touches.
Yes.
Just, I wouldn't want
I
that
do
to
have
be
that on the
questioned.
Yeah,
There we go.
except for Nate because we didn't let him talk.
Sorry, buddy. We'll cut you off.
I don't think Minnie said anything either, did he?
Yeah, I don't think I had a tonic water question in the middle.
So that
This is going great. It's like herding cats here.
Yeah.
Going awesome.
So in traditional Arnold fashion, though, for me, it has been for the last 3 years, get in a car, throw a podcast on, and try to explain to my fiance what the heck Massonomics is. And I was super excited because we left early, saw the podcast came out, and I was like, oh shit, clicked play. It wasn't until about halfway through I didn't realize that it was not a TNA podcast, and I was a little disappointed. I was expecting it to be like finally the announcement of the Massonomics OnlyFans, but did not get that
podcast.
Yeah, I saw something and and I was like, TNA podcast, hell yeah. But then I got halfway through and I was like, well, these questions are pretty good.
I mean, you had some
But-
YouTube video of when they panned out on Tommy doing the reverse hyper and they zoomed on his ass for like 30 seconds. Like you have to get your
Yeah.
A there at least.
There was a bit of that, yeah. I mean, that was
Yeah,
part.
buddy.
That was part. And I guess the T came later on in their Instagram posts from a return of a friend
Yeah.
to the booth.
Did it ever?
So
I got a few comments on that one.
while I was disappointed, I do have to give it 5 because it was good. The questions were good. I do want to see the tug of war. I really want to see the tug of war. And we may have to, we'll decide which side gets to cheat more, but it'll be fun. So yeah, definitely 5. 5 iPod touches.
I asked a question about the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, and I don't remember what the question was or what their answer was. I just remember I did ask a question. So because they answered that question, I will also give it 5 Massonomics iPod Gym.
Did
Jim,
you ask,
iPod touches.
Or was that Keith that asked
I asked
what
one.
they
I,
want
don't- I
more
don't-
of?
Yeah. They answered that. But I don't remember hearing them answer you one for you. I'm not sure.
Kevin,
I
did you
asked
give
it.
a rating?
We all gave it a 5.
Did
I
Kevin
don't-
give his
maybe not.
rating?
Probably not.
Yeah, he went
Kevin's
before me.
coughing.
Kevin went before me.
All
Yes.
No, I gave my
right.
rating.
All right.
Kevin's tripping off the scissor. He doesn't even know.
One generic thing going in here. Keith asked, "What is Mog?"
Yeah, I don't fucking know what that is.
Anybody want to
I'm-
explain what
I'm not
mogging
Googling
is to Keith?
I don't Google shit like that.
I mean, at some point, you have been mogged, and you might not have even known it.
You might be being mogged right now.
Is Eddie Googling what Mog is?
Yeah.
I'm not the only old man that
Isn't
doesn't
that
know.
basically just like out angling someone, or just
Oh,
like
okay.
I
So
don't
let's
think this
just
is
say that.
I do not think this is accurate.
Along the lines, yeah, it's not necessarily
ver-
just out angling, but it's more. It can be as simple as like someone like me who looks like a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with a hoodie on, pulls her next to you and takes the shirt off, and all of a sudden you're like, boom, I look like Fat Arnold, being big and swole next to you. You get mogged by my size. That's what Grizzly does. He mogs people with just his sheer girth.
So to the dictionary.com says to mog is a verb. It's to move on, depart, or to camp. So that probably helped you about as much as it helped me.
So
But if you do, what does mog mean in slang?
Urban Dictionary.
It is to be significantly more attractive than someone or something, to dominate in appearance.
And, okay, so in lifting, mogging is when you have so much more muscle and are just overall larger than the person next to you or the group of people you're around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
like
to
the
move,
the
depart,
basic
or to
definition is to assert dominance over somebody, usually by just
Mm.
being bigger.
So there you go. There's mogged for you, buddy.
Yeah, it's not a word I'll ever fucking use. So, and I hope no one ever uses it in my gym.
I'm gonna come to your gym.
I just say,
and I'm gonna mog you.
I'm gonna deadlift exactly 2 pounds more than you,
Probably.
and then
could,
I'm
sure.
gonna yell, "You got mogged!"
All right.
Have a full mog off at the lift.
We'll allow that. We'll allow it for content.
All right. Okay, Kevin. I understand you have a very fun ad read for us.
Yes, I have the ad read here. So just want to say thank you to our sponsor, Massonomics. While I was at the Arnold and after the Arnold, I had to explain to many people what exactly Massonomics is. Of course, at the Arnold, people can see that they are an apparel company, and it's quick and easy to explain. They also have a long-running podcast and an Instagram page. On the podcast, they interview people in the strength sports and the fitness industry, but they focus on topics outside of lifting and having a silly goose time. You can almost feel the moment the guest realizes, oh, they're not just going to ask me to recap my last meet and explain my training and diet. But the biggest thing Massonomics has become is a community, and that's us, the Unpaid Engine Crew. It started off as a simple way to support Massonomics, but has grown into an active online community. Big Tron said it best, it's like an old group of friends you didn't know you had. So if you want to be part of this community, follow the Instagram podcast and check out massonomics.com/join to become a supporting member today.
All right. Very nice. So I don't know how we're really gonna moderate this. I don't know how we're gonna moderate all of this going on. We should have discussed a mod first. I think because
we'll do it live.
We will fucking do it live. Yeah, Keith wasn't at the Arnold, so I do kind of expect maybe he's got more control us and our giddiness going for this.
Yeah, I can help segue into things, but I think it's just the best. Just let it flow, wherever it takes you.
Yeah, before we get into that, I just wanted to say, North on High Street, the friend's guide they took with muscles still flexed from the Arnold book. Bars and restaurants a half-mile array awaited the crew in Columbus to play. The Crewsters were nestled all snug in their gear, with visions of protein shakes and hearty good cheer. And wearing their hoodies with crew on display, they ambled and bantered in a boisterous way. Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, it's gonna keep going, isn't it? So day one, I wasn't there. Mad regrets on that one. Just for some context, I wasn't last year. I brought the family. We brought Steve and Sandy, and I did all 3 days. and it was too much. It was too much money. It was too much time. It was too much coordination. So this year I said, F that. We're going to get up stupid early. We're going to go for one day. Then we're going to leave the next day. Well, that wasn't enough.
Mhm.
So next year we're going to do the middle ground where I'm just coming alone.
There you go.
Like I'm just going to come and get my own room and just be alone and be on my own schedule and just like do it live. So that way I can have like 3 days of maybe I don't want to go on Sunday. Maybe I leave early on Saturday. Like just I'm in control of myself at the Arnold. I think that that's going to be very lonely, but it's going to be, I think, what I got to do to get the best scenario out of the Arnold in 2025.
So you're saying you're coming alone on a Saturday?
No, I'm going to go for all 3 days. I don't. No,
so
no,
I was going to say.
No, Saturdays are not for coming alone.
No,
Oh, okay.
No, Saturdays are in the schedule book for mutual arrival. So the people that were there on Friday, like, tell me what I missed.
Thursday. I think half the guys are there Thursday night, weren't they?
Yeah, what about like the dudes that roll in on like Monday? Like Eddie, I think built the Columbus Center.
Yeah, fucking Eddie rolls in with a full workshop.
Yeah. Thursday we just set stuff up, the boys they worked on their booth, helped them unload, and then I just let them kind of do their own thing. I don't want to get in the way because they had their own methods, and I went and helped set up stuff for the strength co, get the banner up and put together, and eventually we went to Home Depot and started building the deadlift platform. So learned a few lessons about that, but we made it. And it lasted.
So what was the deal with the deadlift platform at the Strength Co booth? For those audio listeners, the people that aren't watching on YouTube, or, we'd show a picture. What the heck? Why was it like a foot off the ground? Was that required by the Arnold this year? Like, what was the deal with that? Was it to give them a stage so people could see?
Grant wanted something that would separate the individual who's deadlifting from the crowd. So those who were there last year might remember when they had the big deadlift party, how crowded the platform was and how unsafe it was when especially they're deadlifting very heavy amounts of weight, the 8s, the 900s. And so he really wanted something that would elevate the platform so that it helps kind of create a safety separation. So we worked on a couple different concepts, and we didn't really decide until the day of what size we were going with. Ended up doing just one 4x8 platform, and I would say overall it worked out really well. I think anything bigger would have been too big. So I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys saw it?
No,
I was terrified.
I was also terrified watching TD Spash and that big farm dude almost missed the platform once or twice, because that was gonna hurt somebody if that went over the edge there.
See, I didn't see that stuff.
Right,
I was terrified from a wanting to lift perspective, because whenever I'm scared of heights and I'm already tall, so I got up on there and I'm looking down and I'm like, this seems way taller than it should be. And I remember all the time that I got a little woozy pulling something that shouldn't have been that range on a platform that's 1.5 inches off the floor. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm not going to go any higher than 405 today.
I didn't get to lift at the Strength Co this year, and that's my bad. I showed up a bit embarrassing. So we showed up around, I think, 130, and Steve pulled over to the side. I jumped out, grabbed my cooler, ran in. The security guards were like, you can't come in here. And I was like, okay, but I can't get a hold of anybody to bring me my pass. So they eventually let me in. And by the time I got in there, I was literally shaking, because I went from sitting in a car for 6 hours to the Arnold. So like, I'm trying to take a selfie, I think, with Jess. And I'm doing one of these, like, just like Michael J. Fox style, just everywhere. And that was kind of, but I got over to the Strength Co, and Ron is there, and he starts talking to me, and I was like, oh, by the way, I'm Joey. And I hold up my thing, and he goes, I know who you are. And that was so embarrassing, because I was like, there's no way this guy remembers me. He's met me like twice in his life of the millions of people he meets.
It's the older dude, right?
Yeah. And he's just like, no, I know who you are. You came from Ontario. yeah, he's like, you came from Ontario, right? I was like, oh my God. Like it's like, you are just a genuine person who remember. I felt
Don't
like
sleep on
such a
Raw, man.
prick for a second there. But yeah, he actually said, he was like, I was actually looking forward to you showing up and deadlifting on the platform. And like now it's set for 800 because we're about to have a party. And yeah, that was kind of sad.
But you didn't pull 800 this weekend? What the fuck?
Me? No.
Yeah.
No, I actually didn't deadlift at all. That was a really weird thing. I didn't do any lifting at the Arnold, except for lifting the sales of the Massonomics booth.
I was talking with TD on Sunday, and he told me, I asked him how much he pulled because I didn't get to see the deadlift party. He said he pulled 700, and I was like, shit, man. I'm like 20 pounds away from that at my best. I'm gonna peak for the Arnold next year just so I can go deadlift and be like, can I beat TD today?
Well, last year they had like GoRuck had a cool display thing with like sandbags and stuff, and Eddie and Kevin did it last year, and I was super jealous because my blood sugar was like super low, and I was like, if I do this, I will pass out, and there's just no business doing that. So I didn't.
That's actually what happened to me. Like, I definitely did not eat enough, and then tried doing that, and I almost did pass out.
Yeah, and I was like, I kind of want to do that, so I was like trying to make sure I was on top of stuff. Like if I found a cool event thing, and there just like really wasn't anything cool to do that I noticed. So I was like, well, guess we're not doing anything dumb today. Except you could wait in line at the Bells of
yourself.
Well, you could wait in line at the Bells of Steel booth for like 3 hours to bench to win like $250,000 or something. But
I saw Eddie's deadlift versus Jessica Bittner at the Rascal booth.
Yeah, buddy.
That was pretty good.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I set the Jefferson deadlift record.
Hell yeah, you did.
Yeah. I walk up there and there's some guy that's 62 deadlifts in a minute. And then they're like trying to get
Doucette? Jesus.
They're trying to get people to come do it. I'm like, yeah. I don't think many people are going to be able to pull that off. And I was like, well, I'll do it. I'm like, I'm doing Jefferson deadlift. And they're all like, well, it's up to Jess if that's allowed. And Jess is like, of course it's allowed. I'm like, look at what I'm wearing. Of course I'm going to do Jefferson deadlift. I got a lift shirt on and deadlifter shorts.
The day after you did that, they had I don't know if you guys know Bald Omni Man. If you've seen a post somewhere from some fitness influencer, chances are he has commented on it. He's like one of those prolific commenters, and then he's like one of the Rascal guys too. And they had him do a 225-pound row max in 30 seconds, and everyone could go up and try it. He had 23, and I'm looking at this going, if I had touched a weight in the last 6 months, I would rock that. And I gave it a shot. I got to 18, and I'd been eating so much random food over at North Market that I was like, I'm going to shit myself if I keep trying to pull this.
Oh man, it's just too bad you didn't keep going. We always need a good shit story here.
Well, there's plenty from the Arnold.
Oh yeah,
then Arnold's bathroom segue. I think the stickers, the I Survived the Arnold bathroom sticker was a huge hit. We started basically giving that away to anyone who gave the booth time of day, and some of them actually looked at the sticker and goes, okay, now I got to buy something, and we made a lot of people laugh with that sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say the bathrooms were pretty nice on Thursday when there's very few people there. My favorite bathroom store on Thursday was I went in to blow my nose because the wind was really howling outside, and I go in there and get some toilet paper to blow my nose, and in the stall next to me I hear someone's phone go, "Let's get ready to rumble," and then went through that, and I just laughed. I said, "Well, this ain't the Arnold, nothing is." And then the guy doesn't say anything. I'm like, "Oh, well, let's see Arnold." I left.
The one woman that was posting the reels of "come take a shit with me at the Arnold," that was hysterical. I wasn't overly familiar with her, but goddamn, those are funny.
Big Amber.
Yeah,
those
were hysterical.
Excellent content.
By Sunday, there was one back by the Strength Co booth, one of the bathrooms I went in, and I was gonna go in the stall. Walked in the stall, shut the door, turned around, and my left shoulder is touching the wall, and my right shoulder is touching the wall, and below me, before you get to the toilet, was the
toilet paper roll.
the toilet paper dispenser, and I went, yeah, this is not working. So I waited for the handicap stall, went in that one, and those industrial rolls of toilet paper that they have in all those places of like the half ply. There was one of them sitting behind the seat in front of the piping. So it was like a backrest of toilet paper. And then the water was about a half an inch deep all the way out to the end of the bowl. So I'm like trying to hold my shorts up, and I'm wearing my barefoot. So I'm like putting my feet as far out in front of me as possible, just trying to keep myself from getting wet.
Oh, it's horrible.
So you actually look like the meme that the Mastonomics posted.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was tough. It was tough. And you said by Thursday it was okay. Friday was not bad. But then Friday, an hour and a half in, I went into one of the bathrooms and I came back out and I said, why is everything wet? Why is everything wet, physically moist?
And there's a guy in there, okay, whose job it is to clean. They have one for every bathroom. And all this guy is doing is wiping water off the counter. He's not restocking toilet paper. He's not restocking soap. He's doing nothing. He's just walking back and forth with a cloth, making sure there's no water on the taps.
Which is literally the least important thing.
Hey, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do that, though. I mean,
no, that's the one thing we don't need him to do. But luckily, with the Mastonomics booth, right outside, when you go out into the exit, there's a bathroom right to the right. That one was taken care of when it was finally time. Yeah, that was when it was finally time, when the 3 energy drinks and protein powders I had hit. I was like, uh-oh, like, something's happening here and it ain't going to be pretty. I went in there and I was like, oh, it's actually surprisingly clean in here.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been to the Arnold 2 times. I feel like I typically use the same bathroom, which if you like leave from where the Mastonomics booth is and you go like straight to the door that leads you outside, if you like hook a right, there's a men's bathroom. Yeah. And you go all the way to the other side, there's a women's bathroom. And I just go there, and it's never really been that bad. Now, mind you, like, shout out to the Hartville Marketplace. I worked in a flea market. I was a butcher inside of a flea market for college. Kevin knows what I'm talking about, Hartville Flea Market. And I would oftentimes walk to the bathroom during my work hours, and there would just be poop on the wall. Like, there was just like, I don't know. I just didn't see it. There was a bathroom. I walked by the XPC meet, and I was like, that one's probably the bad one, but I just didn't even venture in. But like, compared to what I've seen in at the marketplace, these bathrooms were pristine, other than like, it did feel like I was walking through a mild swamp because the floors were just soaking wet, which I assume is just bad mopping from the dude that's supposed to be cleaning stuff. But yeah, I don't think they're that bad, but I survived them.
So did you guys run into any famous people in the bathrooms other than Huck Finn coming in and smacking me on the back when I'm trying to piss in the urinal?
Not this year. That was last year.
The floors are wet.
I wish I was prepared for it.
Yeah. Last year.
When you say you're prepared to run into someone in the bathroom, what does that mean? Let's unpack that.
It means that when you go into the bathroom at an event like this and you recognize someone, you take the stall next to them and you say, hey, I heard this is where all the dicks hang out.
I thought you were going to be like, you were prepped like Billy Keoghan at the end of Saltburn or something.
No
one will get that reference, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Joey didn't finish it.
I've not glazed that one yet.
The last day I was walking into the bathroom and the smallest man there came flying out and crashed into me. Lee Priest comes flying out the bathroom door and runs right into my chest, and he goes, Jesus fucking Christ. And I was like, whoa there, big fella.
That is my name. How'd you know?
Can you imagine running into Dr. Mike in the bathroom?
And that would be a fun time.
I was trying to remember this. Who did Dr. Mike try and like fight?
Huck Finn.
He didn't try to fight
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It was Huck?
He didn't try to fight him. He was just like on edge while he was there.
I can see that.
Dr. Mike didn't try to fight anyone. He's one of those guys that he does not try to fight someone. He either fights them or...
Very good point.
Do or do not. There is no try.
He was prepared, but he fortunately
Very
didn't
good
go that
point.
far.
But there was definitely like at some point, somebody had told me like, "Oh, Dr. Mike was here yesterday, and he was gonna kill somebody." I was like, "Fucking
Yeah,
what?"
yeah.
But I could see
He took up a fighter stance. He was ready.
I did not see this.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Hookfin's drunk and yelling "loser" at him, and
But also, like,
when he's got people there trying to take photos with him and stuff.
yeah,
it's jujitsu, so like he was gonna have to like lay on the floor and be like, "All right, get on top of me," and then we'll start wrestling. Like it's not real. He couldn't actually fight him. They just like lay around and just cuddle each other aggressively. Like it wouldn't have been that bad.
He will pull guard so hard.
Yeah,
You won't even know what hit you.
capoeira. All right.
Like someone who hasn't done jujitsu.
Yeah, definitely. I've never done it and won't. I've no patience for that. Okay, so is that day one out of the?
Was there any meetups day one at night, or because I know you guys had some meetups later and then like Saturday, but was there any after hour stuff for Friday? I guess not.
Yep.
Eddie looks shocked right now.
I got distracted
I'm the
by
wrong
the
person
Discord.
to ask. I am bad about going out and doing things with people.
Yeah, where were you Saturday?
Yeah.
Well, Saturday night, whenever I originally planned on coming out there, I got a bunch of my Twitch streaming friends to come to the Arnold, and they all came out, and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna find some night we can go eat at the Brazilian steakhouse." And I let somebody else. I said, "You guys just schedule it. I don't want to deal with trying to schedule a place at the Arnold 3 months before the Arnold." So someone else took care of it, and they got it on Saturday.
We could have went to a Brazilian steakhouse.
Yeah, like it's $60 a head.
We walked past it.
Hey, it was only $48 a head.
Oh, that's actually pretty good, honestly.
I do appreciate that Minnie's like, well, I didn't hang out with you guys. I went out with my friends. That was cool.
Yeah.
We actually
after we finished eating, they went out drinking, and Rachel and I were like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to the hotel and sit in the pool."
That's the spirit.
Yeah, we actually saw you guys walking through the restaurant. And we saw
you did? Oh shit!
Oh, we did too. Yeah.
How do I miss Eddie walking down a sidewalk somewhere?
Well, obviously, I wasn't logging you. So. No, we talked about it, and like Tommy was like, "No, they seem to be enjoying themselves. Let's not ruin it." I'm like, "All right, sounds good."
Let's not ruin it by showing up.
Hell, if it ever happens again, I mean, we're just a bunch of people who stream to 15 people. We're not, big podcasters. We're not
Brian Masconomics right there.
Yeah, I mean, I try to get them. I gave them all stickers. I found them all, and I was like, "Hey, you survived the Arnold bathroom. You should come over and buy a shirt."
Yeah. What were we talking about? Saturday.
I was gonna say, I guess we're moving on to day two.
Yeah, we can probably segue with Saturday morning. Everyone, because I know when Joey got there. What time did you get there, Nate?
I got there at approximately 3 p.m.
Oh wow! So you were there for like 3 hours.
Listen, I was in Columbus for as long as I needed to be.
Nice.
Anyway,
I got in the late morning and got a little extra surprise. So I brought in some Ohio Pico pizza.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw that.
They opened the restaurant. Kevin opened the restaurant.
I basically did.
Opened it early for Big Kevin.
So I was talking to Big Nick at Live Large, Ohio Pie Company. I told him, like, hey, like, I know the Masconomics guys and the rest of the crew. We've always, a few of us have had the pleasure of having the pizza, but I know the rest of them would really love it. So I'm like, how can we make this work? Like, do I get it Friday night and, like, refrigerate? Do I get it Saturday morning? I know that's, early for you guys to open. And he goes, let me see what I can do. So he goes, how about 8:30 Saturday morning? We can get you, your pizza will be ready. I'm like, perfect, we'll do it.
That's awesome, man.
So I only asked for a few pizzas, and then he goes, well, if you're going to be driving, you might as well bring a bunch of pizzas. So I said, I'll take as many as I can carry. So
that's awesome.
He gave me 8 pizzas, and called Big Eddie, got me into the Arnold, and walked in, and Nick happened to be right there too. Brought over to the booth, and I think Huck Finn got a slice, and brought over the Masconomics table, and they got to try it right away. So that was a lot of fun. And there's a bunch of other, like, some cool people came around and shared the pizza too. I think Strength Hope came over and had a slice or two, and then big Julius Maddox came over, and he was stacking the slices like a sandwich, different flavors. I'm like, oh, so that's what it takes to bench almost 800 pounds.
Yeah.
Got it.
So everything is a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
The best thing was too, the Julius was coming by and like to get a slice, and he's shaking Tanner Tommy's hand. He goes, I think he shook like maybe Eddie's hand and then mine, and he goes, "Hey, I'm Julius." Like,
We know.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Joey. Yeah, I know who you are.
Jesus. Yeah.
Joey was like, I have no clue who this guy is. Thanks for introducing yourself.
I know who Julius.
Couldn't you guys not remember his name on one of these episodes, or was that Tanner and Tommy?
Yeah, I think it was it was us.
Well, no, it was who was and it was either TD or Julius. I just couldn't remember which one it was.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Wow.
Hey, Kevin, did you get any brunch pies from there? I always wanted to try one.
So I was thinking about that too, but I'm guessing that it was about an hour, 45-minute drive from their Brunswick location to the Arnold.
Yeah.
And the pizzas that were in the middle of the stack, those actually stayed pretty warm because they had 4 pizzas on either side of them, keeping it warm. But he just stuck with some traditional cheese, pepperoni, but then also had some of his more wild flavors like the
hot beef.
Hot beef was awesome.
Yeah. Chicken,
Pickle.
like a barbecue one, pickles and chips. That one was really, really interesting. But no brunch. I don't think that 2-hour eggs.
Good.
Yeah, I don't think eggs would travel well.
It's the one thing I want to try from them that I still have yet to.
I mean, that is like the perfect recipe for the Arnold bathroom.
To our egg shits. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, buddy. With some
Funniest
milk.
thing too was that the people were still eating the pizza. Like I picked it up at 8:30, brought it there at 11, and people were still eating it at 4 p.m.
Yeah, I think I had my last slice at like 5.
Yeah, I ate some at like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, still good.
I was like, I walked over to like the Arnold was ending, and I was like, "Are you guys just leaving these pizza boxes? Like, do you want me to take these anywhere?" And Tanner was like, "Oh, they still have pizza. Do you want any?" And I was like, "Oh, wait, what?" And then he was like, "They're from Ohio Pie Company." I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I got the whole story, and then Tommy proceeded to read me. Like, Tommy, for some reason, walked over with me and then just read me the names on all of the pizza boxes. He was like, this one's
one by one, too.
Yeah, this one's Piggy Bird. And then he, like, opened it and then, like, closed it. And then and he got to the end, he's like, I probably didn't need to read those to you. You can read. And I was like, yeah, I've had their pizza before, too. Like, but I really appreciate it. And the rest of the time that we were waiting in the Arnold, Tommy just continued to read it to everyone that would walk up. And I was like, I don't know if he's doing a bit at this point or if he just thinks no one can read.
That's the best bit.
He'd be like, because the way they cook their pizzas, like you can obviously, like the pickle pizza is literally just pickles and chips on top of like whatever's on it, like whatever sauce and cheese.
Yeah, it's bread.
Yeah.
And sauce.
So like, you just open it and you can visually see with your eyes, but he would open each one and explain it. And I thought that was hilarious.
That would have been a good reel.
I recorded a lot of them, but I couldn't. His hair was getting in the way from some of the back shots, and
back shots.
Sometimes stuff is just funny
Saturday.
without being on the internet.
Talking about coming on Saturday.
Poor Sam.
The one thing I think I missed out. Well, was there? I haven't seen it yet. Did anyone actually get a good group photo at all?
No.
They didn't say that.
I don't think we had a good group photo.
It was just a bunch of dudes living in the moment. Yeah.
We did at dinner.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, I guess there was like a group photo at dinner.
Keep an eye
I
out
think
for
it was
that one.
Tanner and Tommy that had it on their phone or something.
Oh, okay. Well, their vlog's coming out tomorrow, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of stuff in that.
Yeah, it wasn't,
tomorrow, right?
but it
Or
wasn't
the
like an
next-
official picture with everyone. Like I feel like
That was a dinner picture, not an Arnold picture.
Yeah, the one we got last year had like way more people. Like this, we only had like 15 people at dinner, and there were way more than that at the Arnold. Speaking of which, speaking of Saturday, there were like a lot of crew that I saw were like, I was at the booth, but then just like never saw again. And I was kind of bummed. Like, I don't know, Mad Cow seemed like he was around. Was he there on? Oh,
He
is
was
he?
competing.
I know there were a lot of
rip
people
stuff.
that seemed that they were competing, and I was like, I can't find anybody. Whatever. I'll just stand around here, and if I get to meet some new people, I
Yeah.
get to meet them.
He was competing in the arm lifting, and then Big Brad from Poland.
Yeah.
They went and watched the strongman competition, the pros.
Yeah, we
So
had
I
dinner
think
with
that was their
Brad,
big
so
flop. Okay,
got to
there's a
see
lot of
him.
people who they were off watching the different competitions. Like Tyler, he was in the competition. He was in the amateur competition. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think that's why most of them weren't just around the booth.
the one dude was on the XPC meet too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Big Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel
Yes.
did. I met him
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah. He
Yep.
did that on Friday.
I loved his. He posted the trio of his pictures, and Tanner was wearing the same shirt, and two of them. Who said Tanner only owns 2 shirts?
I said that Tanner only has 2
that's
shirts.
good stuff. And
Play
then,
the
yeah,
hits, man.
And
Play
what's
the
funny
hits.
too, like one of them was the squat shirts that he was wearing in back-to-back years, and like you can tell that last year that shirt looked fresh, and this year it definitely looked a lot more worn.
He definitely likes that one. I see it. You see that in his Instagram reels a lot.
Great shirt.
So
It looks really good with jeans. I just never wear jeans.
that's a good point. That's probably why I like wearing it so much. So I showed up, like I mentioned, at 1:30, flew out of the car with the cooler, come running in, like going through all that shit, and I'm on my way to the booth, and I've got a 12-pack of Keiths and a 6-pack of sparkling water. Okay. I go past Huck Finn because you have to, right? You got Huck Finn on one side, Huck Finn on one side, and you got the weird Nutter Butter people on the left side, and then Massonomics is in the middle of the thing. Okay. I don't even get past Huck Finn. He stops me. And he mogs me. Him and this other guy. What do you got in the cooler? And because I know it's Huck, I was like, none of your fucking business. Like, I was just immediately matching his energy within seconds, which I would have never done first year, but second year doesn't matter. I'm going full tilt with Huck this year. And he's like, well, let me see. And he opens it and he steals my energy drink, first of all. And then he starts he goes, what's this crap? And I'm like, it's Canadian beer. He's like, it's shit. I was like, because you can't handle it or what? And he's like, where are you going? I was like, the Massonomics booth. Right. And then so the person that he's with goes to hand me back my energy drink. Right. And Huck's like, no, I'm taking that. That's my favorite flavor. And I was like, it's my only one, you prick. Give me back my energy drink.
What kind was it?
Pink lemonade from Ghost. It's pretty much all I drank. Right. And he goes, we got any more? So I got 5 in the car. But like, this is mine. Right. He goes, all right. He throws it back in the cooler and we go back. And that's like my first 30 seconds into the expo. It's just me just like matching energy. So then I end up go back, get relaxed, take off my sweater, take off my hoodie, and I go back. And then Karen's like, oh, Karen remembered me again. Amazing. Right. Pure business sense. Like, she just knew who I was within seconds. And then I turned to Huck and I'm like, you were on my podcast last night. He goes, oh yeah, you're the bearded fuck. So I ended up giving him that energy drink anyway, because I got another one from somebody else. Right. I was like, hey man, like, said it's your favorite. This is yours, man. So me and Huck got too drunk. Like, I wasn't like out of sorts or anything, but like, we were matching energy, and that was really fun. I ended up finally buying a Huck Finn barbell shirt. And it just says Huck Finn barbell because their stuff is a little too political.
Yeah, it's a
little too political.
The communism one.
I would have most likely gotten Motivation is for Pussies, but they didn't bring it.
Ooh, yeah.
But again, like, it's just nope, too much politics, too much people going to talk to me. If I wear anything that says pussy on it, like, I don't want a fucking conversation. And I told Karen that.
Yeah.
She went,
says the guy that wore the shirt in the diner.
Yeah, but that's like, that doesn't lean one way or the other. That's just,
neither does I eat testicle. Real primals don't eat testicles; they eat pussy or whatever.
Okay, so there's that one, and I also would have bought Wrestling is Real, Your Wife's Orgasms Are Fake.
Yeah,
that one's really funny to me.
So what did you wear into a diner?
It says lift heavy and eat ass, and it attributes the quote to Gandhi. And I wore it in a diner in fucking South Dakota, Aberdeen.
That's great.
thinking, oh, we're just going to get some breakfast and go to the gym. But no, we sat down in a classy place that does tapas, and I'm wearing a lift heavy eat ass
What?
shirt. That was my bad.
I don't want to wear controversial shirts. I'm Joey. Ah!
I didn't want to wear that shirt there either. Like, that's what you don't. But anyway, so yeah, I ended up finally. I got in, and Steve's like, "Hey, I'm going to the car. Do you want me to take anything?" So I get him to take my Huck Finn shirt. Then I find out Karen's cutting shirts. I was so fucking mad that I didn't get a Karen cut shirt.
Buy another one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm gonna have to buy another one. Like, when it goes back up on the website, I'm gonna get the motivation is for pussy shirt, and I'm gonna put in the notes like, Karen cut for me, please. All right, so that's the first 30 seconds of being at the Arnold. I immediately undress, say hi to everybody, get my lanyard, and I run to the Strength Co. Yeah, already told the story about Ron at the Strength Co. Tanner was there, so Grant was like, "Do we let him in?" And Tanner's like, "Yeah, sure." And so they let me backstage so I could say hi to everybody. Then I went and met Big Jess Bettner, which 4 years in the making, I think. Like, we've been chatting and talking on Instagram and everything like that. So finally got to meet Big Jess. Just kind of did like a circle around to see the people that I knew, and ended up just like not really running into a ton of people. Did get to meet Big Mike Van Wyck, who I've been trying to get on the podcast. So Mike Van Wyck owns a gym up here called Pure Muscle. He does a lot of content that's like, he's really kind of just like a down to earth anti-influencer type. So I really follow
the guy that knows scans.
No,
everyone knows scans.
Everyone knows scans.
No, there's like a specific guy.
Yeah, that comes in and he was like, "Do you guys have the right to use his likeness?"
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god, that was hysterical when they talked.
He came by again this year. We got a photo with him.
Nice.
He's more okay with the likeness. It's coming around to it.
My buddy, what the fuck? That was a great story.
Yeah. Got to meet Mike, and actually told him that like I ordered one of the sweaters, but it's not released yet. I'm waiting on the pre-order. And this fucking guy goes, "Stay here for a second." He goes to the back and he brings me a hoodie. He brings me the one that I ordered. Mike Van Wyck.
Oh.
Right. And I'm just,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And nobody else has it because it hasn't been mailed out yet. So here I am. I'm the first person to wear one of these, and it's a 3X. And he goes, "I don't know what you're going to do with it." And I went, "Get bigger, I guess."
Yeah.
3X should fit, right?
Oh, I swim in it. I swim in it, but it's mine. This is my emotional support hoodie. This is mine now.
You go to the dark side and you modify it. All right, just like a bench shirt that's too big, you trim it down. You know, you stitch it up.
No, we all opted to all fit inside of it as we walked to dinner on Saturday night.
Nice.
Dinner's also a wild story.
Yeah, dinner. Before we get to dinner, Saturday. Any thoughts on Saturday?
Anybody see anybody in the cage that was worth mentioning? Or
did anyone get to watch the cage?
A shit show of like a million people.
Yeah, you couldn't get close to the cage.
So it was pointless. So unless you watch the live stream, it was pointless to actually even be.
So I walked by when
up front. It looked
when Dan Green was deadlifting, and I was probably like two or three people deep, but they had the big screen up that they were showing it, so I was able to just watch it on that. But it was cool watching them lift.
I walked in. My buddy Tom and I will unpack that in a second. But we were walking around, and I was like, "Oh shoot, there's that cage." And we walked up, and there just wasn't much going on towards the end of the day. So I saw it, and I was like, "This is all right." I was like, "I don't know if this is a famous person. I don't know if this is just a regular person. I'm really confused." But whoever it was missed their lift, and I was like, "Well, this is unexciting. I'll just wander off." I was like, I feel real bad, and yeah, there wasn't a lot of people around, but they had a lot of real estate. I feel like they might have had the most real estate of any booth at the Arnold.
Except Rogue.
I think they had a good deal with Rogue too, because all their shit was Rogue, whereas in the past it was just whatever they brought in from whatever they could source from Columbus gyms. Rogue definitely
there's a backstory to that.
Okay.
Yeah, no Rep 1 Fitness over there.
So Grant reached out to them, and he was trying to get Strength Co plates in there only. because he's like, if I can get the animal cage to just have strength go plates, then I don't need to worry about having a deadlift platform at my booth. And Animal was cool with it, but then Rogue found out and they shut it down and said, no, this is the Arnold put on by Rogue, so we're gonna do Rogue plates.
That explains a couple of the jokes.
What you're saying is we need the Arnold put on by Strength Co next year. Start crowdfunding now.
Strength Co to the moon, baby.
And it's just funny because I've probably heard Grant say a dozen times, did you see those plates? They're all dirty and scuffed up and rusted.
Yeah.
They could have had brand new plates.
During the deadlift party, I think at one point, Grant walked up to Gino, whispered something, and then Gino was like, do you see how thin these plates are? You could fit 8 plates on that bar. Can't do that with Rogue plates or something like that. And I look at Grant, and he's just like, yeah, I did it. Like
they were for the audio listeners as well who weren't there in person. I would also just show you a video, but audio only. The Rogue booth was probably in earshot of the Strength Co booth. Like it was very close.
Yeah,
the Rogue booth is like 22 feet away.
Yeah. But earshot in Arnold parliaments are like you have to literally be inside someone's anus to be able to hear what they're saying. So
I mean, Rogue's booth is right next to SPD.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, Rogue was right next to SPD, and I was up on the SPD stage meeting some people, and Gino was on the mic, and I could not hear the people standing directly next to me talking into my ear. And that's like the next booth over from Rogue. So they heard they probably had Bill Henniger on a phone. Like, are you hearing this shit right here?
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to go back to smoking meats.
My favorite animal cage moment was when I was walking by and they were playing Down with the Sickness.
Nice.
Yes. Oh, classic. Here we go.
And you're like, that's going to be me this week.
Yeah, buddy.
Speaking of Gino, weird kind of moment at the Strength Co booth. I posted about it in the Discord. So I come back for the deadlift party because Ron was like, come back at 3:00 for the deadlift party. And I'm standing off to the side at this point, right? I'm by myself. I'm not even in the booth. I'm away from the booth. And he's doing his announcing. And then at some point, he turns to me. He makes eye contact and he goes, what's up, Ginger? And I'm like, hi. And he goes, is that a beer? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah. And he goes, yeah, attaboy. So I yelled like, see you in July. But at that point, he wasn't listening anymore. But it was like a surreal moment that Gino picked me out of the crowd. Right?
That's pretty cool.
Like he recognized me, but there's no way. He's never met me in his life. But that was definitely like a surreal moment of like, why? What did I do? But it's again the beard, the fat, I guess.
Just tell you were Crü.
You could just tell I was Crü, yeah.
He could sense it.
What are the crowds like overall? And I've already listened to a couple different Arnold recaps from like other people that were there, and like I've gotten mixed answers on it was 100%, it was 90%, it was 70%, like basing it off of like 2019 or versus last year. Like, what do you guys think that were there for a few of them?
Easily 69%, easily.
Nice.
And
I would say
pod touches.
There was less people this year than last year.
Really?
When I was there, for sure.
Friday was slammed.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would say Friday was just as busy, if not busier, than Saturday.
That's crazy. That's like definitely wasn't like that last year. Yeah.
Well, I feel like compared to 2019, Saturday was not as big, but bigger than the last few years. Like they reorganized everything, so there's fewer choke points. Like there used to be, you had the stage, you had the main stage, you had the Highland Games over on the side, you had the CrossFit Games on the other side and the strongman in the back. So it just made these dead spots where you could not move for about 3 rows. And this time everything was out to the edge. The strongman was paid only in the back. The only spot you really got jammed up at was in front of like the main bodybuilding stage area.
Okay,
yeah. In all fairness, I was not at the booth very much on Saturday, so my views probably.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad walking. I mean, there were certain times like when Tom and I like first got there, we'll talk about Tom in a minute. But when Tom and I first got there, we there were pockets like you were saying, Minnie, where it was like all right, I'm a little jammed up. I'm a little bit too close to people, but it would open up pretty quickly. Or like if it was packed, I could just like go down another aisle and slide through pretty quick. So, even when it did get backed up, it was easy to get around.
Yeah.
I thought. I mean,
Last
now
year,
I heard like the Sam Sulik line that like Tanner was telling me like to meet
God.
some of those like lines and stuff to meet people were just like absurdly long.
yeah,
And
ain't
that
nobody
would've
got no
been-
time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, apparently a lot of people did, Joey. So
Yeah, well, I was
check
gonna,
your
you
facts.
just need that exhibitor pass. That's how I got to meet Mike and Jess without zero lineups, because I was just like, and actually when I was talking to Mike, if you look at the picture of me and Mike, it's really funny because I was just like, oh, can we get a picture? And I like lean in, and this dude is like the size of Minnie, and he just leans over and pulls me in, so I look like I'm like sideways
Like he
getting
totally
a
mogged
hug
you.
from this guy. He did mog me. But as I was doing, Sam Sulik was right there, right? So all the lineup goes around the back of the kiosk, but here I am talking to Mike right next to Sam. I could have said something to Sam, but I actually don't really know who he is, so I'm not going to waste my time on it. But like,
Did you guys
I know
hear
who he
about how much you have to spend to see Sam?
No.
So the Grizzly, you had to buy a $40 shirt
Yep.
to be able to see him. And Sam, I was told you had to spend $250 at the booth.
Oh my
before you could see him.
gosh!
Wow.
What
And
booth?
that line,
So it's hostile supplements. Wait,
yeah,
hostile?
and that booth
I say
is
hostile.
long.
He says
Well, I
hostile.
think-
Does
yeah,
he?
I'm pretty sure a hostel is a place that you can
Yeah, that's
sleep
like
at.
Well, that's a hostel.
Eh,
Ugh.
I think Eddie said it right. The word you just said, Joey, doesn't exist, I don't think. But
What was the fucking word again from last time?
Bozo.
Bozo.
No,
Speckles.
the one that Joey's entirely wrong about.
oh fuck,
the
what was
fuck?
that? Oh,
More
This
God.
Deckle?
mouthfeel?
Is it Deckle?
Deckle,
Deckle.
yeah, decal.
Deckle.
Oh, fuck,
Not
that one was pretty-
decal.
Decal.
That one is hysterical.
Bringing it all back. So other things that happened on apparently not Saturday. I think this might have been Friday, so I'll need help getting filled in. But this is a story retold to me by Tanner, also via Instagram. I think they made the video. But Tanner and Tommy found a dude wearing a Tango Charlie shirt.
Yes.
And then had Huck Finn rip it off of him.
That was
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
I hope someone like bought him or just gave him.
Oh
a
no,
different
that
shirt.
was the deal.
Oh,
If we
that's-
give you
that's-
a replacement shirt,
There you
can
go.
we rip that off of you for content?
I think it
But
would
So
have.
that was only part of it.
It goes much deeper. Yeah.
Oh.
Much
you
deeper.
go ahead, Minnie.
So he comes up with the Tango Charlie shirt. They ask him if they can rip it off. Huck comes over, grabs it, and goes, "Fuck Tango Charlie!" Rips the shirt off, throws it on the floor, spits on it. They put on a Massonomics shirt, and then like less than 2 minutes later, he takes him down to the Huck Finn booth and goes, "Fuck Massonomics!" Rips the Massonomics shirt off him, puts a Huck Finn shirt on him. Then proceeds to take the guy around the corner to Live Large and goes, "Fuck Huck Finn," and rips his shirt off and gives him a Live Large shirt.
So he left with the only Lift Large shirt, or was able to go back and get like a free shirt at every booth for all that drama?
He actually went home butt naked.
Yeah.
Sent him home.
That man went home to shame, ding ding, shame,
Yeah.
ding ding.
That's great.
It's funny. I didn't know any. All I said was, "You didn't rip a Tango Charlie shirt off a guy," and they're like, "You're
No.
fucking right. Well, you did."
That's
He
great.
did. He did.
Well,
Yeah.
I surprisingly saw some other Tango Charlie shirts in the wild, and I was
yeah.
very shocked. There at the end of the day, there was a incredibly jacked man wearing a Tango Charlie shirt, and I was like, I'm way too small to ask him any questions. And also
You
my
get
buddy
mogged.
Tom, who we'll talk about in a minute. I mean, we're like nearly the same size. He does jujitsu, and he would just lay on the ground, so that would obviously be just a moot point at that point. And then I'm too wimpy to do anything. So I just watched him walk by many times and was like, that dude is insanely huge. We need to rip a shirt off him, maybe Huck Finn. And then I just, I couldn't find the crew to take him down. But
We did have another Tango Charlie guy come by, and Karen got him and brought him over, and he He's
Wasn't-
like works for them. He's
Yeah, he was like a
distributor, wholesaler.
shirt distributor. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we like
Beautiful.
she filled him in on everything that was going on, and he's kind of like, yeah, I don't have anything to do with this
But
stuff.
That's
speaking of that, they had their own Tango Charlie shirt there.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming because they had talked about it a few times, and then when I saw it, it was great. But yeah, sorry.
And one of us eventually got it.
Well, not one of us, but one of us.
Yeah, no, they're all one of us. Biggest Brad.
Oh yeah,
Biggest
I remember
brand,
him
yeah.
wearing it.
And she walked up and he had the Karen cut, and I was just like, "You got that?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just asked for it." Fuck, I should have done that.
The first day when they were packing in, they were unloading everything. And Karen, she came up to me the day before she put that out, and she goes, whenever I was opening boxes put up on the shelf, did you see what I had in this one box? And I go, no, I'm not paying attention to what you're fucking unpacking. You're doing your shit. She goes, good. And she goes, I got to show you this because I thought this whole time you saw it, you were going to tell them. And she pulls the shirt out from under the bottom shelf under the table. And I go, oh my God, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We need a whole run of them.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking hilarious. So what else happened on Saturday? I don't want to ruin my unpaid and underrated because some of the questions I'm going to ask are revolving around, of course, what I was there for.
Is that when you met Grizzly was on Saturday, Joy? Or Eddie? Now I saw the clip. Was it more of a presentation of the drink spotter, or was it a proposal? Oh, I'm sorry.
We don't look the same. How did you confuse us?
Because
No,
I'm
it was
not
me
used to having 6
offering
people on the
tribute.
screen.
Go ahead, Eddie.
You know, it was my way of placating, the grizzly and sparing the North American continent from his wrath. So, no, it was met him on Saturday. Tanner and Tommy got to meet him on Thursday when we were setting stuff up. They saw him, and the translator actually called over to them, and he was a huge fan of the different things that they've done, and so he was like, no. So they were all talking while I was building the deck, and so then I went and met him on Saturday, and I was like, sweet. I was like, yeah, I'll give him the drink spotter and get a couple of autographs. So
Nice.
he was cool. I got him to smile. I was happy with that.
Yeah, that was like the highlight of my people I got to meet, and it was somebody who couldn't even converse with me.
He's Greek, right? Zero English.
That's
there.
ideal.
Yeah, I walked up, and his translator he says something to me. He sees the badge and he goes, "I love you guys." I'm like, "Oh, don't worry, we all love you too." And then I was going to get a picture of Grizzly sitting, right? And everyone's been taking pictures sitting with him the whole time. And the translator goes, no, just wait. He says he wants to stand up with Big Man. And I was like, oh shit. And so he stood up for a picture. I was like, wow, I got called a big man by Grizzly.
Real recognize real.
Yeah.
And then to make it even better, I posted the picture on Instagram, and Monday when I was at school, I was in the middle of band rehearsal, and I got a ping in my pocket, looked in my pocket, said, Capicoolic has liked your post. And I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah, buddy.
You're in now. You'll be Twitch streaming together. Pretty soon you'll be able to go to Brazilian Steakhouse or whatever.
Hells yeah. I go to Brazilian Steakhouse with Grizzly. That'd be like a catastrophe for them.
That would be amazing.
So we met I met dozens of people, and one thing that I want to be very, very proud to say, I got names coming. I got people in the spreadsheet for the podcast, people that you don't expect. Maybe
watch it happen.
Yeah, maybe some names that I haven't even put in the spreadsheet that I might be reaching out to. Some big names that I think that Massonomics is not quite getting, but maybe we do. Maybe we will. Maybe we get some fun people. If I could shout out anybody for making my time there amazing, it is Tanner and Tommy. I definitely messaged Tanner today and was like, now that my come down, I dried out for a couple days. Now that I've come down from all of this, thanks. Honestly, Tanner, I go to the Arnold and people know me and I know people and I'm welcome at the fucking Arnold. I said, it's because of you, man. It's because of Massonomics essentially letting the inmates run the asylum. There were several times where I would come back to the booth after just wandering around being a fucking nightmare like I was. And then I'd be like, oh, I got some shirts to sell. And I would just jump behind the counter. And we'll talk about my salesmanship because there's some funny stories there. Where I was just like, sure, like I'm just here to help sell shit. I just don't want to touch money or merchandise because I don't want to be responsible for shit. Right. And that's where Kevin helped me out a couple times. So that was it. I just want to shout out them. I do want to shout out Barefoot too. I don't see them a lot, but every time I've ever seen them, they make every visit worth it. Whether it was South Dakota or the Arnold both years, those guys really make stuff fun and interesting, and they are very welcoming. And so are the Strength Co. Like they might be contributors, and they might be what do you call it? Somebody help me here. Not supporting members, sponsors. Thank you. But they definitely are part of the community. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't just get it. And that made me feel really good. It as much as like we had fun and we joked and we laughed and saw heavyweights and met famous people, I think that the biggest part of what I got out of the Arnold was just being accepted. And I'm not even that good of a lifter. So like that was it. And you guys, of course, did that too. Kevin, Eddie, Minnie, Nate. You guys all did that for me as well too. But complete opposite of all of that shit. There's one thing that maybe people that listen to this podcast don't understand, and I don't think maybe the other 4 people on this podcast understand. Nate is really professional in our text message threads. Nate is really kind of like professional on the Discord, but Nate is a force of fucking chaos in real life. Like, I must have forgot from last year, but like just hanging out with him for the evening, and for me to look at somebody and be like, you're a lot.
Wild card.
Yeah, that's Nate. Nate is everywhere all at once and does it.
I'd almost say that his personality mobbed you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even I was just like, wow, dude, like if you were a drug addict, you'd be fucking insane, but you are this way sober. Like you're this way stone sober, so I respect it so much more.
Bro, if you smoked meth, you'd be insane. Yeah, most people yeah.
Well, like you weren't even drinking that much. Like you were just
I didn't have anything.
Exactly.
I didn't even have caffeine that day.
Yeah, and that's insane to me. And I appreciate that so much. Only the cocaine. Cocaine light.
Only cocaine.
Yeah, he's on cocaine light. Remember, we're athletes.
For legal purposes, none of that is true. Whoever's listening to this, there are no drugs involved.
No, not at all.
He was only on the original Jack 3D form.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
but yeah, if you guys ever get to hang out with Nate outside of podcasting or the Discord, just be ready that he's like that picture you posted, Eddie, where you were like, "Oh, we need a picture of flexing," and everybody's doing the double arm, and he decides to look like the ultimate warrior taking a shit. And like it's so funny. Like
anyway. The worst part about I saw that picture and I was like, terrible angle. I look minuscule.
You got mogged by everybody in the
we were supposed to out angle Scants, and for some reason I turned completely inward like an idiot. I don't know what I was doing.
Scants out angled you.
Yeah.
It's such a silly photo.
I can't beat Scants. The whole purpose was let's take this to out angle, and I'm still out angle. I just can't win. No, I appreciate that, Joey. I think I don't know how to respond to that, other than when out on the street there arose such a clatter. The crew rushed ahead to see what was the matter. Away to North High, they flew like a flash in pursuit of a venue where they all could crash. The neon lights twinkled on High Street so bright, illuminating Crew's crew, a peculiar sight. With laughter and jesting, they roamed the terrain, a merry band of geese, Arnold's post-gain. So yeah, Saturday, just want to hit a couple things that you mentioned, Joey. So me and my buddy Tom, who we'll get to in a second, when we showed up, we show up to the Arnold, and I was like, is there anything you want to see? He's like, I don't know. And so we just kind of start wandering. He said he wanted to go to the Jocko booth. He's a big Jocko guy. So I'll explain more about that later. So we go to the Jocko booth, wait in line, get like a bunch of free stuff. I don't know what to do with any of it. And I was like, the one thing I need to do at the Arnold is go to the Barefoot booth because I want to give away from them. I have a gift card and I've just been indecisive for like the past 6 months on like what colorway, high top, low top, what size. And I was like, I just want to see if they'll take my gift card and I can walk away with shoes. So we walked for like 30 minutes. I looked online like 3 days before the Arnold and I was like, there's the Barefoot booth. And I refused to, like, as a typical dad, we got there, we're walking around. I was like, I refuse to look at the map again. I will find the Barefoot booth. Also, I will not ask for help. At one point, I ran into Joey. I was like, where's the Barefoot booth? And he's like, this direction. And we like stood around and talked for a second. I was like, all right, Tom, we're going this way. And he was like, that Joey guy said it was the opposite direction. And I was like, oh, okay. So eventually we found our way to the Barefoot booth. And we walk up and I was like, this is it. And I'm telling my buddy Tom about, toe splays and all of these things. And I think Shelby hands us one of the foot manuals. And Tom's like, what is this? And I was like, I said something and I was like, I wrote it. And then Big Blake was like, no, I wrote it. And I was like, oh, shoot. I'm in presence of greatness right now. So we start, talking. I was like, hey, can I buy shoes? Yada, yada. And I don't remember how we got to Massonomics because I wasn't necessarily going to be like, oh, Massonomics. Like, I just wasn't going to, just if it came up naturally, it came up. But it came up and then Shelby said something and there wasn't like an official, like, I listened to the Massonomics podcast and I was like, what podcast are you talking about Unpaid and Underrated? She's like, yeah, I've listened to that. And I was like, I don't know who you are. I'm Big Nate. She's like, oh, you're Big Nate. And I was like, this is a very strange experience for me. Who the heck recognizes me? But it was really cool. They helped me out. I got some shoes, love them. Shout out to the whole Barefoot gang. But yeah, it was just like to Joey's point. It was like, I was recognized by someone I had never met before. And it was such a strange feeling of being like, oh, you're Nate. And I was like, you listen to our podcast? No one listens to I know people listen, but like no one listens to our podcast. Yeah.
No, I'm with Nate on that one because there was a part of the story I wanted to tell about Joey's salesmanship. There was a point where I stopped selling merchandise and started selling memberships. And the one guy was just like, oh, I listen to the podcast all the time. I just haven't joined the crew yet. And I was like, oh, well, then you should know Unpaid and Underrated. And he looks at me and goes, which one are you? And I was like, well, I'm Joey. And he's like, been listening, man. Know who you are.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, what the fuck? Like,
why aren't you crew though? Like that would have been like,
I want to talk about some of that later. Yeah. But I don't know if I told you, Shelby did that to me last year. I walked over to Barefoot and I was like, oh, hey guys, I've always just wanted to try your shoes on and blah, blah, blah. And she saw my tattoo and she goes, oh, you're Big Joey. And then I was just like, it just fucking melts, right? Because like somebody at the Arnold recognized me. But then again, spending the evening with Barefoot, right? They're just keen and they're awesome people, right?
They're on it. Real ones for sure. Yeah, I think that's basically all I did at the Arnold. Was I went and got some Barefoot shoes and then just wandered around. So I pretty much have no other good stories. And maybe when we get a chance, I'll explain who Tom is.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
so
we'll
get
get to
babysit
that
a pair of shoes all night like that.
He did have to babysit a pair. I had to babysit a 3X sweater. I already had a hoodie.
Tanner's so disappointed in both of you right now.
So the first Arnold that I went to, I took like a big 20-liter. Shout out. Got it right here. Oh, it's lost in the fire.
Yeah, this is going great.
This is the Air Day Pack, 20 liters. It's a great backpack. I love it. It's the
Our three guys start bored as shit watching you trying to explain your background right now.
But well, I was holding my backpack. It's right here, but it's lost because Zoom whatever.
You're just caressing the fire.
Yeah. But so I brought like a huge 20-liter backpack and I was like, people say you get so much stuff at the Arnold, all that, like, and I like packed like 20 water bottles. And I was like, went home with like nothing in my backpack. And I was like, this is dumb. It just got hot on my back the whole time I was there. And I just brought like a 9-liter like sling kind of thing. And I was like, I don't need to carry anything. And then I show up and I bought shoes. I got a shirt from the Barefoot booth. I got like 3 hats. And I had like the bag that Barefoot gave me just jammed full of all of the stuff that I just had to hold in my hand. And I was so disappointed I didn't bring a backpack.
Would have instantly been like, fuck, I should use that gift card online. Just like
Well,
pay the shipping.
Yeah, but I was there, and then I didn't have to worry
try
about
them on.
Yeah,
still going to try them all on, but then like, all right, cool. I know what I'm going to get. I'll put an order in tomorrow.
Well,
I ordered a pair like a month before the Lift Hard Live Easy, and then went to the Lift Hard Live Easy. I was like, hey, I ordered 8.5. Can I try those on to make sure they're going to fit? And that way, when I get them, I don't have to like put them on to try them on. I can just return them. So I get that.
Yeah. But
is there anything else you guys want to cover? Eddie, Kevin, we've been boring you a bit by over talking you. Tell me what's going on. Anything you want to talk about from Saturday?
Dude, I feel like Kevin was working hard on Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday was good.
Story,
yeah.
He was manning the booth by himself. Damn near, it looked like
He had to earn that badge.
There were a few times where it was just me and Big Emmett. Just us running the booth ourselves.
That was
funny
on
because
Sunday.
a couple months ago I was telling Tanner and Tommy, I'm like, hey, like I think you guys trust most of us now. Like we can run the booth for like an hour or two, and you guys can go off and do your interviews, and that's exactly what they did. So like I think they got some good stuff out of that, and I only stole a few dozen shirts, so I think it's all good.
I only embezzled $1 million, but it's fine.
No wonder there was only one chicken bake shirt left.
Yeah.
I'm that knockoff website. That's mine.
Yeah. Putting them all up on eBay.
I had fun at the amateur strongman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was one interesting story. I took my buddy Tom, who we'll talk about in a minute, over there, and I was like, he was like, let's go watch like some lifting. I was like, sure. And we wander over, and I just like, we're watching the amateur strongman, and out of the corner of my eye, I just see like Eddie off in the corner. And I was like, listen, Tom, as soon as he comes out, like we have to scream and just like clap for Eddie. And so every time he'd come out to like reload a amateur strongman event, I was like, yeah, go Eddie, you got it. And I was hoping he would hear us, just didn't hear us. So eventually we walked over and just said hi to Eddie. But
Eddie is a professional and just ignored you.
Well, that's what I was like. Eddie's too big time to be like taking on any sort of cheering. He's like, I got to get this done. Got work to do here at the Arnold.
It was pretty funny because like I had messaged them again, be like, hey, I volunteered last year. I had a lot of fun. And they got back to me. They're like, yeah, here's my number. Give me a call, blah, blah. So I stopped and talked to him a couple of times. And then they're like, all right, we'll just come over. I said, hey, I'm eating Grizzly, and then I'll come over after that. And they're like, yep. I'm like, just remember, you have to have one of our shirts on. You can't wear anything else. And so I go over there, and I'm like, all right, where do I get a shirt? And they're like, we have to go over to the booth where they sell the shirts. And I'm like, all right. So I go over there, and the guy's like, well, I can't give you a shirt. I'm like, what do you mean you can't give me a shirt? He's like, he's like, you can't come back here and get a shirt. I'm like, well, I'm here to volunteer. I have to have a shirt. He's like, well, these bins up front, you can pick one of those out. So I'm looking through them. The biggest they have is an XL.
Modify.
And he's like, well, yeah, there's an XL. You can wear that. I'm like, an XL? I'm like, dude, I'm wearing a 2X tank top right now. And he's like, well, we got a 2X hoodie. And I'm like, dude, I'm not wearing a hoodie to reset amateur strongman weight. You're crazy. So we go back and forth, and I eventually go back over there. And like, I had this run, and it's like, where's your shirt at? He's like, the guy won't give it to me. He says that, I don't know. He's like, he's just beating around the bush. He won't give me a freaking shirt. And he's like, you go over there and you tell him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I go over, and I'm like, all right. He said, give me a shirt. He's like, okay, here you go. I was just like, this is so stupid. But I got the shirt, and I went over and I helped out. And there was some fun events. I enjoyed the sandbag for height. That one was pretty easy to reset. And the squat machines was very interesting.
Those
I
look
saw
sick.
some of that.
Opinions about that one.
That was fucking insane.
Don't
because
necessarily like that one.
Yeah, that was weird. Like you will go under, you crawl under, and you squat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
And they set the height of the squat of that based off of your height, not based off of your hip height. So there were some people that were like 4 inches above parallel, and there were people that were like 2 inches below parallel. And there were people who like got stuck underneath and were having like claustrophobic attacks because they couldn't move and stuff like that, and like people were passing out. So that was kind of interesting.
Good event.
Okay.
When like
weird side
Yeah.
question on that. Why do
Yeah.
I feel like I'd prefer to start below parallel? Would anybody else prefer that, or am I just insane?
No, I don't think I come out.
So
I don't know
it
if I
all
could come out
depends
of the
on
hole
what
with
you're
400
going
pounds of
for.
weight.
It all depends on what you're going for. But if you're going for max reps and amount of time, you'd probably be better off with above parallel.
Yeah, but if I was
Because-
thinking like I just wanted, fuck it, I'm just going as heavy as I can, I feel like I'd start below. Well,
give it
because
a shot. Let us know.
I'm thinking about what I was looking at with the machines, because the machines you
Yeah,
braced,
yeah.
like they weren't like a barbell, they were like over the shoulder.
It was
Yeah,
transformer
it was a
bar
mo-
pieces.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a
yeah.
modified transformer.
Because I feel like you've got a little more
Modified?
bracing, a little more you can lean
Yeah.
back into the squat a bit. I feel like below parallel might have really, above parallel would just feel like lazy to me.
Well, the problem with that being
Uh,
that like you can go heavy on a squat from above parallel because you're using the weight to like load into the push.
Yeah.
But if you're starting from the bottom, you have no load. So
Yeah.
you're just like losing all of that
So-
stretch reaction.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's
So the
fair.
majority of the people who hit in high numbers, they had their feet out in front of them, and it was much more like a leg press because they were leaning backwards into the implement. Yeah, when it comes for the high reps like that, and that's typical to strongman as well. That they'll do that's the reason why they'll do, wagon wheels and stuff like that. Because if you never train at those different heights, then you're not going to be very strong at it. And so they'll do that to mess with you.
Love it.
But no, it was good. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Made a few more friends, and I knew several of the competitors, so it was cool to see them and cheer them on, and then get to talk to them later. The next day. And it was just kind of cool because, like, I'm sitting there and they've got the open man, and it dawned on me that these are the guys that are battling out to be the next pro, and so that was pretty cool because this was some very big, strong guys there.
I walked by on Sunday and saw all the stuff they were packing up from that. And the one thing I took away from that was Jesus Christ, were the sandbags for the pro men or the heavyweight men just the biggest things ever. Like I tried to move a 300-pound sandbag at a local comp and I could not roll the thing over. And these sandbags were like 30% bigger.
Yeah, they had some big bags.
Bags?
Some of them people didn't like because they were loose. They weren't very tight bags.
Should have
It
used
made it
pea
harder to
gravel.
pick
Should have
apart.
used pea gravel.
I was gonna ask what they were loaded with. Yep.
Yeah. Eddie, did you get any word in on how they should use pea gravel next year?
No, I did. So
Why did you
after
even
the squat
volunteer,
event-
Eddie?
Now hold on just one darn second. So after the squat event, we're pulling up all the stall mats and putting them on pallets. And I made it a point to tell several of the guys there that, hey, Massonomics talks about that this should actually be an event, having a whole stall mat. And then we get done with the stall mats and we got to put down some tape for the distance events that we have an accurate distance. And the guy's like fumbling to get the tape started. And I was like, ooh, how's this for a strongman event? Double York, pinch grip for time, followed by starting a clear plastic tape. And of course, I'm laughing, and they're just like rolling their eyes at me.
Imagine like super sweaty fingers just trying to get. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now, were you talking
I was like, have them do that, then have them tie a bow tie.
Yeah.
Are you talking like a thick
And if
tape, or are you talking like I needed packing tape, so I went to Walmart and got
Christmas.
half ply
Exactly.
tape?
Wrapping paper
Exactly.
tape.
The clear
The
tape
second half play
that you
reference
can't even
level.
tell where it's cut at. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
When they're that bad, I
Yeah.
literally have to get a utility knife and start a new cut, and then just throw a bunch away just to get to a section.
Yeah.
That's
you
good,
know.
that's good
All right.
stuff.
So we want to
that's
dive
very-
into dinner.
Yeah, we can talk about dinner because it's a bit embarrassing for me.
Yeah, I remember more rapid than eagles. They scooped out of place, considering burgers and steaks. The carnivores, Grace. Now R Bar. Now Bodega. Now Elevator Brewery. on Gasworks, on Standard, on Mikey's Late Night Jury. To the top of the high, to the end of the street, they marched as a crew, a hungry heartbeat. So onward they ventured with laughter and cheer, a troop of geese in a positive festival atmosphere.
Okay, so everybody starts talking about where we're going to go to dinner. And Eddie is adamant. Eddie's like, F all of you. I'm going to Waffle House. Okay?
Yeah.
And he goes,
Stand by
I
it.
don't care if you give me anything better. I'm going to Waffle House. And we were all like,
No, that's not what I said. I said I'm going to Waffle House unless you can give me a better option.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
all right. So either way, I was just like, okay, but like, let's all go somewhere cool. And
Waffle House.
Waffle House. But then we all decided on this Mexican place.
So backstory on that was, I think we were talking earlier in the day, and I was like, where are we going to get food? And Big Steve mentioned to me, he's like, we went to this Mexican place last year. And I was like, Mexican, super easy, like quick, in and out.
Yeah, everyone loves Mexican.
And I was like, that's perfect. I put that in my back pocket, and I brought it up repeatedly to everyone subliminally to try to trick them and all being like, man, I really want Mexican. So go on, Joey. Lead us to what happened at Mexican place.
So this entire thing just ends up being I played myself hard. So we're walking for 15 minutes. It's about 15 minutes away.
Through a Sam Hunt concert.
So at this point, we realize
screaming people.
There's a country concert going on around the corner from the Arnold. It's the same thing I said.
Mike's brother.
So I said, like, why? I couldn't understand. I was like, when I was thinking about Waffle House, I was like, isn't there Waffle Houses where Eddie is from? And I said, why would you, I couldn't understand traveling so far to go somewhere that's close to your home. I said that sentence at all. Why would you go somewhere? Yeah, I didn't tell you this because I played myself hard. I was like, why would you travel across the country to go somewhere you could go at home? So we go to this Nada place, and I open the door, I walk in, and the waiting room is rail. And I look at the first.
Not to mention, from the outside, this looks like one of the nicer restaurants in Columbus potentially. And I'm like, that is not a Mexican restaurant. That is a place that may serve tacos. Like, that is not a Mexican restaurant. Those are two different things in my brain. But go on.
So I ask the first couple I see, hey guys, do you have reservations? And they're like, oh yeah. Do you? I was like, no. And they were like, good luck. And I just turned to the group of 10 and went, we're not getting in here. Nope, not a chance. So we all leave, and across the street, is a place called Boston's Pizza. And I didn't clue in. I honestly did not clue in until we walked in.
Pizza all day.
No, until I realized I walked in, looked around, and went, I turned to Steve and went, this is fucking Boston Pizza. And if you guys are listener to this podcast, you know that Boston Pizza is a thing I talk about all the time because I get to go and cheap pasta, giant beers, and it's relatively inexpensive, but it's a chain in Canada that I did not realize that you guys didn't have everywhere. But it was named in such a weird way, and down in Ohio, it's a very different experience because up here, it's like, I don't want to say dirty, but it's like a dirty chain, right? Like it's like a, it's one of those places where you go and you're going to get the same thing at every place. If I go to a Boston Pizza in Hamilton, the Boston Pizza in Toronto, the Boston Pizza in Niagara Falls, they're all the same. So we sat down.
Just digging yourself deeper and deeper here.
I know. I went to my, like, are you fucking kidding me? Like I just said,
oh my
why would you travel across the country to go somewhere you could just go at home? And then I accidentally find myself in the place I go to once a week. God. Yeah, it was. So you don't know that part, really Eddie? Funny. That's really funny. No, I got myself good.
That's really funny because you guys were like ragging on me about how trashy Waffle House is and how it's like this down and dirty place.
Well,
it's like
no, nobody said dirty. We just said like we don't want to go there.
To be fair,
comments made and to be fair, you haven't even been there, Nate. You've never eaten.
Well, listen, there's a Waffle House in between Tom and I, who we'll get to eventually. But in between Tom and I's house, I drove past it. There's a specific reason we haven't been there, Eddie. Like, it is not.
We weren't Waffle House ready.
That's the whole thing, is that, the Waffle House ready. like Tanner and Tommy haven't been to Waffle House. We tried to go last year, it didn't happen. So I was like, let's get them to Waffle House. Let's get them at nighttime so
Would've
that
been a
they can
good
see
bit.
the Waffle House
Yeah.
experience.
And then I like
And that was the whole thought.
the whole like let's go to this cool Mexican place that has delicious burritos and all that shit, and then I end up at
And
fucking
that's fine.
Boston Pizza. And
Yeah.
I was
And
I was actually
and
kind of
we're
bummed
all
about
like,
it.
we all walked in and we're like, pizza? Like, we ate pizza all day. And someone in the group, I don't remember who, said, yeah, and it's not going to be better than Ohio pie.
No,
So
absolutely
it's
not.
like, so none of us got pizza. But
At
I
this
mean,
point,
we ate,
I'm
I was
assuming
full
it's
last
like 8 or 9 o'clock at this point. Everyone's probably hungry.
Yeah,
So it
we're
didn't
just
really matter.
grumpy
You
and
had to eat.
hungry. But it was just a matter of like we all had these grandiose plans and then ended up again at fucking Boston Pizza.
Well, we
Like,
walked out of the lobby of Nada, turned around, and it was the only restaurant in like visible distance. And like even when we walked back through, like when everyone at the end of the night walked over to Brothers, like there was nothing else open. Like
Yeah.
there just wasn't really anywhere else to go. So it was like I don't know where we would have went if we didn't go to Boston, like within walking distance and whatnot. So
Yeah, I just thought it was really funny. I was like,
Well,
there
there definitely was not a Waffle House.
no, and
And I do understand why you guys did not want to drive to another.
yeah.
well, yeah,
honest.
walking is is the preferred mode of transport in a city like
I
that.
will
but-
say, if you have not been to a Waffle House, then you should go to a Waffle House.
Well, I did end up having my first chicken
Sit
base.
at the bar. Sit at the bar there at the tabletop, high top, or whatever you want to call it. Get yourself a meal, and let me know how bad it is.
No, definitely not
Now
gonna say
I'm
it was
hungry.
bad, but I definitely thought it was really funny that I was like, you go to Waffle House all the time, like you live here. Why wouldn't you go somewhere cool? And then I fucking went to Boston Pizza. And then
I go to Waffle House like twice a year.
in our reels
Yeah.
where I was just like, so guys, like from Fargo, how was your first Boston Pizza experience? And Barefoot goes, there's one in Fargo. So there's two in America. One in Fargo and one in Columbus. And I haven't.
That's confirmed, or you're just.
No, that was according to somebody Googled it on the spot, I
Oh,
think.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought that was really stupid.
The server said there were two in Ohio.
Okay, so
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
We'll Big Kevin fact check that for us.
Yeah, Big Kevin, can you
He's actually
Can you
here
spreadsheet that?
live this time? Yeah.
But yeah, that was
Anything else you guys want to talk about while I'm still on? I got to get to bed.
No, man,
Bro,
you
they
head
have-
out. I appreciate you
Okay.
being here.
Big Eddie, where can they find you, buddy?
Cornfed Highlander on Instagram is where I'm at, and appreciate everything. Thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun, even though I'm sick and my energy's kind of low. But I do appreciate the invite. Getting to join you guys.
All right, man. Good night. Take care, buddy.
You being here means
Peace.
a lot, man.
Thanks.
Love you. Have a good night.
Appreciate it.
Love you.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely got played going to Boston Pizza. Like the food wasn't terrible, and I think there was one funny part with Shelby where because they were like, "What would you order?" And I was like, "I usually order the jambalaya pasta, which is just pasta, whatever you fucking weirdos call it." And and I said, "But like, I usually sub out the shrimp." And she goes, "That was okay, but like it wasn't jambalaya pasta." And I was like, "Well, it was spicy enough." And she goes, "You called that spicy?" And I was like, "Shelby, I eat ghost pepper at minimum. Ghost pepper sauce is my minimum spicy. When I say it's spicy enough, I'm not saying it was spicy. I'm saying it's spicy enough for white American Canadian food. You can't make stuff that spicy like we would like it and sell it like all the time." So anyway, that was our Boston Pizza dinner. I guess I'll take that off of the.
Oh,
Quick
by the
fact
way,
check, there are 15 states that have at
Yes.
least one Boston.
Lots
Really?
of buzzing.
I
all
got
the way from Arizona all the way up to Ohio, Maryland, Michigan.
Yeah.
Both Dakotas.
So when I brought it up with one time on the podcast, you guys made me feel stupid. You were like, "We've never heard of that. Is that a normal thing?" And then I was like, "Then they're not in America."
Well,
But
and unless they're in Morgantown, West Virginia, or Western New York, I wouldn't know. So the only two places I've ever lived, buddy.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot
They're
of
in-
experience outside of.
There's one
Nice.
in Columbus, so I've only been to Columbus a handful of times. Important things I wanted to bring up about Boston Pizza. One, just Steve brought up something while we were sitting at dinner, that I want to we talked about it that night, but I just want to rehash, and even for the listeners, if you can weigh in on Instagram.
I'll pull it.
What?
I'll put a poll up.
Yeah. This will be a good one. So Huck, towards the end of the night, was just wandering around, yelling at all the people at the Massonomics booth, handing out flyers, and just, trashing.
Flyers. What the fucking?
So don't support these blank swear words. Here's a 10% code to my website. These guys are blank swear words.
And Joey, what did he say? What act did he say that they would perform for them?
Oh, is this part of your? Is this
part
of your bit here? Oh, yeah, so he called them sea suckers. These guys are sea suckers. Don't support them.
And Joey,
you're saying.
And Joey, how would you respond to a statement like that?
I said some of my best friends have sucked my sea. So, some of my favorite people have done that. I don't see that as a derogatory term.
And so we brought that back up at dinner that night.
Oh, good. I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, you were. You were sitting across from me. And Steve said we were discussing the act of sucking in a short spurt, I think.
Oh, spurt.
And Steve said it was Saturday. Steve said, yes, the ABCs. To which we all looked at him very curious as to what the ABCs meant. And he informed us that meant anniversaries, birthdays, and Christmas.
Yes.
And Saturdays.
And I want to put a question out to the listeners. I want to put a question out to the world. Who the heck is getting Christmas blowjobs, and why was I never informed that was a thing? And I just putting that out there. We don't have to discuss it any further. We don't want to, but apparently that's a thing, and I've been missing out on that one. So I just wanted to, clear the air, get that out there, get some answers from the listeners.
That's funny.
But
all about that.
The ABCs just completely lost on that C one there. A and B, sure. C, what the heck is that? It's in the box. What's the scenario? SNL? What are we talking there?
My dick in a box.
Yeah, are we doing one of those things? What's the deal there? So yeah, sound off in the YouTube comments. Yes for C's, no for C's.
That is pretty funny because I do remember I said after he came by and he was saying these people suck dick, don't support them. And I said something it was just very briefly no, I really want people to do that for me more often, so I'm not going to shame them for doing it. It's my favorite thing. And everybody kind of stopped and was like, what? I was like, well, did you ever not just think about that? And how that phrase leads into no, that's my favorite thing. People should do that for me more often. I'm not going to make them feel bad about it. All right. Anything on Sunday? I wasn't there. Tanner getting his haircut. We'll go into unpaid and underrated in a few seconds, but I do want to cover some Sunday stuff.
Quickly on Saturday before we go to Sunday, we walked back. We were walking from Brothers to, from Boston to Brothers, and Tom and I, who we'll get to in a second, he was walking with me, and for some reason, half of the people were sprinting to Brothers. They were moving at an unnatural pace. I can walk at a 17-minute mile with a weight vest on, and I was I don't know what pace these dudes are keeping, but I cannot keep up. And so we were kind of lagging behind, and it was me, Tom, Joey, and Tanner kind of in the back, and Tom and I were behind Joey and Tanner, and I could see Brothers in the distance, and our car was off to the corner, and I was I started to slow down. And Tom slowed down with me, and I look over to Tom, and I was like, listen, once we get to that opening over there in that parking lot, we're Irishing goodbye. We're not going to say anything, and we're just going to sneak away. He's like, you're not going to say goodbye to all these people? And I was like, no, this is the bit, and we have to commit to the bit. And so we sneak off. No one notices anything. And I get halfway through that parking lot, but it's a giant open parking lot, so you can still see us. and I just hear Tanner and Joey yelling, "Hey, where are you guys going?" And I was like, "Dang, God, we were so close." But yeah, that was probably my largest disappointment, because then I was just like, well, I'm too far to like go back and actually say goodbye, and now I can't really Irish goodbye, so I was like, whatever. We just wandered off, and it was not
You
as
got you got caught.
yeah,
is
we
what
got
happened
caught
there.
by the expert. But yeah,
Did,
so Sunday.
Yeah, I was
Tanner-
there Sunday. Definitely not as crowded as Saturday, but it was like there's just a good crowd there still. And Sunday's kind of cool too because people are just trying to get rid of their stuff. Um, Bells of Steel came over and they're like, "Hey, Tanner, Tommy, you guys want a shirt?" We're like, they're like, "Oh yeah, sure." It's like, and then me and Eddie were standing there too. It's like, "How about you guys? You want one?" "Yeah, sure." So Sunday was cool. I wish I could have stayed later to help tear down and everything, but I actually went and got a late lunch at Hubert's Polish kitchen,
nice.
and that was really good. I'm glad I didn't miss out on that again.
On the glaze
getting
scale,
some,
what would you give that on a scale of 1 to 10 on the glaze scale?
It's a solid. Does the glaze scale have a half points?
No,
The glaze
Instature's
divided out
only
points.
holding. Come on.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 9, a legit 9.
Nice.
It was a little more expensive than I thought it was going to be. Because like it's one of those things where like it's only this much for this and only that much for that, but you ended up ordering like 10 things.
Yeah,
and
if it's
so
all,
it adds up quickly.
it's all a la carte probably, so it's like that's $40 to feed yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like $20 for a meal. So, but like it was
not
good. I
bad.
had the pierogies, potato pancakes, the Maloney. Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Minnie?
I spent Sunday going around trying to get pictures of people I didn't get a chance to get pictures with.
Mm-hmm.
One of the people I always get a picture with every year is Jen Thompson, and I just didn't get a chance to catch her. So I
She's a
managed
quick
to
one.
find her. Well, yeah,
You gotta run.
doing 3 competitions in 3 days, so it's kind of hard to like figure out exactly when she's going to be done with stuff.
Well, yeah, me and my buddy Tom, who we'll get to in a second, we're like just walking through the Arnold, and I see like the strict curl going on, and I was like, "Have you ever seen strict curl?" And we're just like standing there watching it. He's like, "No, I've never seen it." I was like, "Oh, you like CT Fletcher, yada yada, strict curl." And then they're like, "Next up, Jen Thompson." I was like, "That's crazy. That's the same name as that other. Like, that's Jen Thompson." And then lo and behold, Jen Thompson just walks out and does strict curling. And I was like, "Does this woman just do everything?" Like, she was literally everywhere.
Yeah, she I talked to her about it before because 2020 she invited me out to her house and she told me all the stuff she competes in. And I was like, how in the hell do you survive a whole weekend of Arnold plus doing the Masters bench competition that she won, the strict curl competition, and then the bench off thing they do? And she's like, oh, it's simple. I just don't ever do like maxes. I just do pretty close to a max and I don't get blasted. I want to be that
Smart.
damn strong.
Smart.
Yeah, it'd be cool if I didn't have to hit my max to do anything that people still weren't impressed with. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I would say, based on last year and not this year, Sunday is the day you kind of want to be at the Arnold. I think that if like, I kind of explained it to like Steve and Sandy this way. I'm not here to meet famous people. I'm here to meet my friends. And I'm here to see like the people I want to hang out with and support. And that is the other lifters. That's the company owners. This isn't the bodybuilders and the famous people and all that shit. But if you're here between 5 and 7:30 p.m. on the Saturday and almost the entire Sunday, those people are out there walking. Half Thor showed up at the Strength Co booth, right? Like you want to meet Half Thor, you want to be there on the Sunday around 4 or 5 o'clock, like before they start kicking everybody out. And I kind of missed out on doing that. Like I ended up getting Strength Co plates for like $1 a pound because Grant was like, I don't want to bring these home. Can you? And I'll give you them for this price if you buy this many of them. And I was like, you're fucking right, I would. Like that's ridiculous not to do that. And that's the kind of like, I mean, like that's why I'm saying like next year I'm going for the 3 days. We're gonna go hard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna match Huck Finn for 2 days, and then on the Sunday dry out, take 1,000 electrolytes, and go. All right.
Well, Grant's always been something though. Like Grant, when we're getting ready to leave, I'm like, all right, we're heading out. He's over at Massnomics booth, and we were there on Thursday whenever Eddie was setting up the deadlift platform, and he goes, "Hey, did I give you something before you left?" And I go, "No." And he goes, "Do you need anything?" And I go, "No. I got like 1,100 pounds of competition steels and like 13 barbells." He's like, "All right, well, come by my booth. I want you to take a pair of 45s too." I was like, "All right."
You just want to take them home, right? Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. But here's the funny thing, but before I pass over to Kevin here, this is I pulled around back to the loading dock. So I pulled my Prius up and they're blocked. They don't not letting anybody in. I'm like, I'm gonna run in, grab those plates, we'll head out. So I go in and grab those plates. Well, first off, Jessica Bittner's in there. And in one of those moments that kind of, one of those few moments in life as a man that you get where someone says something to you and it kind of, you're like, that's not what I would have expected. She walks up to me as I walked in the door and says, "Oh, good to see you here again this year." And I'm like, who in the fuck am I?
Exactly.
Who's
like,
behind me?
Yeah. And not like 4 steps later, a couple of like teenage kids come up right by that where all the exercise equipment was. I came in that back door there in the loading dock. A couple teenage kids come up and one of them goes, "Hey, weren't you in that Tyler One powerlifting meet?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I'm like, "I am just a fat guy lifting in a 1-car garage." And it took me like 4 or 5 minutes to get to Grant's booth. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that's the weirdest shit. Just to find people who saw me sweating my ass off in a 90-degree garage with no air conditioning, just because it'd be funny to try to pull 666 on a stream in a hamburger singlet.
That's pretty cool that both those things happened right at the end too. Like that just cap
that's
off
the
your
Sundays,
weekend.
man. That's the Sunday is the people that want to go and meet like the friends, like not the millions and millions of followers or the billionaires, right? They're there on the Sunday because they know that. And I'm definitely going to hang around next Sunday for that one. Kevin,
Yeah, Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
I wasn't gonna say anything else for Sunday.
It was good.
God, I'm tired.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, like, I've always considered just going on Sunday rather than Saturday, but like most of like the crew and whatnot are only around on Friday, so it's just like, well, I guess that doesn't make much sense.
I still haven't met you yet, Nate. That's hysterical. I keep like, I just remembered like we haven't met yet. That's great.
I did feel so bad. Like last year, we stayed until Huck got smacked in the dick with a long range beer after the Massnomics booth had already been set up, torn down. But this year, we were like, okay, we got there at 10:30 in the morning, 11 in the morning, and they had already got there and set up the booth, and they were already over at Hubert's eating. And I'm like, God damn it. So this year, I'm staying closer. I'm leaving. I'm getting there at 8:39 in the morning, something like that. We roll in at 9 o'clock, walk in the convention center, and Tanner and Tommy have half the booth set up already. And I go, what the shit? I stayed 2 hours closer just so I could get up late or earlier and drive here in time. And then I had to leave early on Sunday, so I didn't get to help them tear it down. I at least got to help them a little bit set up, but I was like, God damn it. It's that Midwest thing, I want to come out and help. And of course, they're even more, they're like ultra Midwest. So they're like trying to, they're Midwest Canadian. So they've got that polite Midwest. And they're like trying to get it done before anyone could show up to help.
Yep. No, thanks for showing up, bud. Thanks for showing up. We got it though.
Yeah. And then we went to Hubert's, and that was a fun. I heard the joke at Hubert's was he never remembers them.
Yeah.
And so they're all online and they're talking about being there. And he said it again. He's like, "Oh, you guys come here?" And then I walked up in line with Eddie, and he's like, "Oh, my friend, I haven't seen you in what, a whole year?"
Had to one up him. Now that's good. I like that.
You mogged him.
Yeah.
You got mogged by Hubert.
Polish kid.
All right.
Good stuff.
I gotta wrap this up soon. We're going on 2 hours here.
1 hour, 55 minutes. Important Saturday note for the listeners. Tommy got it. Nope. Tanner got his haircut by D at the Strength Co booth. Did I say Saturday?
Yeah, you did.
We got to wrap this thing up. But yeah, shout out to Big D, number 69, running the Strength Co. hair company.
Crew number 69.
Yeah.
You can just yell Big D number 69.
Context.
69.
What do you want to do? Phrasing over here?
Fuck, you made me hiccup. You
I wish people
weirdo.
said phrasing more. That's
No, that's the worst joke on the planet.
phrasing. It's good.
Jeez.
No, that's up there with that's what she said. It's such a lazy fucking way of saying
Only
dick.
That's what she
bozos
said.
would say that, huh?
It's just it's a lazy way of dick jokes. So, phrasing. No, just like literally make a joke. Don't just say the word phrasing. Archer already did it. Anyway. All right, I might have
We don't do
broken
anything.
here.
We always come up with only original ideas here on this podcast. So, anyways,
Yeah.
we're going to jump into unpaid and underrated.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Kevin. So I have a
Uh,
list of like 11 things, and I think I'm going to shoot them out there. And I think some of these I'm going to put to just specific people. It's a shame Eddie's not here. I had one or two for him. Keith, do you have any you want to start with? Do you want to go with any of them?
You, I'll take your lead, man. I'm good. I wasn't
Yeah.
there, so you got personal stuff with all these. I don't. So
Well, I mean, we're going to find out. Some of these, again, we've learned that my unpaid and underrated sometimes fall short. Unpaid and underrated. Kevin, drunkles,
Drunkles, as in a drunk uncle.
as in a drunk uncle.
Underrated. I've had some. I am one. It's a good time.
Well, there was the dude from the Huck Finn thing on Saturday. He was fucking hammered.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like,
that guy.
Huck, who is he? He's like, that's my uncle. And that was the only answer he would give us.
I never
He bought
connected
some.
that, who that
He was just buying people shirts at the end of the night.
He was,
He was so drunk,
was just handing out shirts.
No, he like paid for.
I heard about that on the fucking Tom's podcast this week. That
Mm.
like he drunkenly bought like dozens of shirts or something.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
kids
he
came up
came
to the
up to
booth
me
and
and
he
he
was
goes-
just like, "I'll buy you shirts," and he spent like $300 on shirts. Yeah,
And
for
did
just
he?
like random people.
And Tom wouldn't tell us who he was. It's my uncle. It's just
Yeah.
my uncle.
Yeah, he came up to me and was like, "Hey, I know you." I'm like, "Do you?" He goes, "Yeah, I saw you at the Arnold." Like, well, I was here last year. It's like, no, this was like 10 years ago.
You were like in high school 10 years ago.
And they don't let high schoolers in, Keith.
True, I guess they do. Yeah, it was more of a fuck off. It's
ONG,
like,
ONG.
For real.
Nate.
mog yourself.
Yeah.
Unpaid or underrated? Massonomics booth tablecloth.
Oh, underrated for sure. I really wanted to take one of those home. I asked if you could purchase one. No one gave me the option. Someone did say that if I was able to perform one of the cool, you pull it really quick and everything stays on the table, that I could take the cloth home. So I almost attempted it. But with the rare earth magnets that were on the table, I didn't want to risk damaging them. Not that you could damage aircraft grade aluminum, but you want to take care of everything. But they're really great. Like the print on them. I mean, if you look at the other tables at the Arnold, I mean, we're just talking like black tablecloths. There's really no pizzazz to them. The
Riz.
Massonomics.
There was no Riz.
There was no Riz, and I felt totally rizzed up by the Massonomics tablecloths.
For real.
For real.
Fucking logging off for
Oh,
this
God.
goddamn thing.
Oh,
You-
God.
No cap. They're incredible. Like it's so subtly printed. It's severely underrated. Honestly, if they just did a run of those, I would be getting those for all of the tables in my house. I'd honestly just, if we could, okay, shout out Tanner and Tommy, merchandise idea for the nerds of us out here that use desk mats. You know, you put your keyboard mouse on that kind of covers the whole desk. Printed Massonomics desk mat would be a cool little merch idea. So if we can't have the Arnold booth tablecloth, I'll take a desk mat. Underrated for sure.
Right. Kevin, this one's for you, buddy. Actually, no. Minnie, this one's for you.
Oh.
Unpaid or underrated? Beach balls as body parts.
Beach balls as body parts. This is confusing. Depends on which body parts you're talking about. 'cause
Well, you're at the
I saw
Arnold.
At least four. I saw
Everybody
at least
looks like-
four on the same person.
You're at the Arnold. Everybody looks like a fucking balloon animal at some point. But in particular,
Actually, no, there were two of them there at one point. Two of the
Yep.
ladies there.
Yeah.
There were two of them, all right.
The boobies. I got you.
Now, if they were beach balls, I would say that is underrated. But from what I heard from Tanner after being viciously brushed against, that it felt more like a medicine ball than a beach ball.
Viciously brushed against.
Oh yeah.
Well, what I heard from Huck Finn, it was
Yeah.
like a 26-pound medicine ball each.
Oh, he tried lifting them. Yeah, he did.
No, yeah, he actually called him the boob press because he like shoulder pressed him or something.
Yeah.
And then he did make fun of Tanner because he kept saying that Tanner would like act like elbow him, kind of to get a feel for him.
I did the math though, because I went on her Instagram and it says 10,020 cc's and growing.
You did the math.
So 10,020 cc's is 22.6 pounds.
A piece or total?
I believe that's a piece because
wow.
those.
She says if 26 pounds each.
Yeah, those were bigger than 10 pounds of pop. So yeah.
Yeah, if you've not seen them in person,
I saw them.
It is one of those things where like you go to the Arnold and everybody is, for me, everybody is smaller than you expect at the Arnold.
Yeah.
And but that you see that in person and you're like, all right, I did not realize that was possible. I figured there would be like explosions at some point.
Yeah. And then she had a friend. Distinctly remember. Anyway. The twins. Okay. Kevin, this one's for you. Unpaid or underrated, Joey's sales skills.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Is it?
I want to say, I want to ride the line or say TBD and see how many of these people actually get turned over and join the Discord and say, "Hey, Joey signed me up."
I can't wait. I want to watch that too.
I think we got to say unpaid until proven otherwise.
Nice.
Yeah,
it was fun watching you like step into him, like, "Hey, what's catching your eye? Anything looking good for you?"
I did that so much. Hey, what's catching your eye?
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
As a man who used to work in the sales field, enterprise sales, like really, high level stuff. Joey has mentioned that he works in sales and like does all this stuff. I started watching Joey do all this, and I was like, "Oh shoot, no, Joey works in sales. He's got it. This homeboy is selling. Like he was
sharky
out here.
I was not sharky at any point. That's the thing, right? Like, what did I say to the one kid? He was waffling over jorts, right? And I'm sitting there, and Kevin's just like talking to the kid, and I think Minnie, you said to me, you're like, "Hey, he's got to close that. Go help him." So I come over and I just go, "What's got your eye, man?" And that's what you're saying. He's like, "Well, I don't know if I want these jorts." And I said, "How many days a week do you do legs?" And the kid goes, 2. And I went, I said, "You're telling me you go through that every week and you're not wearing form-fitting jorts to show that off?" And the kid was like, "Well, I wear shorts." I was like, "Yeah, but do you wear these shorts?" And then like we both, like everybody that was wearing the shorts, like in
we all took a step back.
Unison took a step back to show off our quads and our hamstrings. I was like, "I'm a deadlift specialist, and you can see how these work on my hams, and you can see his quads." And the kid was like, "Give me a pair." Like he just bought a pair on the spot. Yeah, but then at some point I stopped selling merchandise and started supporting memberships. And I wasn't even like at that point, anybody that was already buying something, I was like, "Oh, do you listen to the podcast?" And then I would start like giving them the pitch. Like, "Oh yeah, imagine 400 lifters between the age of 30 and 50 just making each other laugh every day. How would you not want to be a part of that for $3 a month?" And then I would hand them one of the stickers for the Massnomics podcast. I'd be like, "Just check it out, man. Massnomics.com/join." And then we'll see like if there is any. I think there's been a few people that have joined since. I don't know if they're conversions from me, but I thought that was really funny. And Tanner goes, "I see you're playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers right now. You're playing the long game." And I was like, "Well, I want them on my podcast."
Well, yeah, it's beneficial for us. Absolutely.
I refuse to believe that anyone that has joined the Discord from here on out is not because of Joey.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. Thank you.
So, on a related note to that, the Marines table booth. It was directly across the aisle from us, and they had like the pull-up station and everything. And I was talking to Tommy about it, and we're like, how many people do you think go to the Arnold and be like, I guess I'll join the Marines? Like, because they had a polo station, you got a water bottle.
Yeah. There was one guy that came over, right? And I'm just standing there. I was talking to you, Kevin, and Tanner comes over. He goes, "Hey, this guy's like on the fence about joining. Like, come talk to him." And it was Grant's friend. So I went over and I started talking to him. And then as like, that conversation kind of ended, I got pulled somewhere else. He comes over to me and he goes, "I feel like I can't walk away until I join. Like, how do I do that?" And that's when I think it was my wife was like, "Well, why don't you have something there to do that? Like, why don't you have the massonomics.com/join page there?"
I thought you were talking about joining the Marines.
No, fuck off. And it's like next time you're
Kevin's topic started with, so
but no. So but it does leeway into that. It's like I could literally just stand there with an iPad and be like, yeah, put your first name, last name, and credit card number here and join for 3 months and you'll get a discount code. And then like maybe work with Tanner and Tommy and be like, can they use that code right now? Right? Like they'll be supporting members, like something like that like we could sort of give them a prize for signing up right there. Like we could really push this if we wanted to be fucking dumb about it, which I do. I always do.
I don't want people joining to get the discount.
Yeah, though. I feel like there'd be an influx of like 50 people that cancel the next month. Like I don't know if we'd need that.
Yeah, so, I know.
You know what other things that Massonomics could offer? I heard they're very fond of doing for people. They could offer for people that sign up for that day. That Huck may have alluded to.
The ABCs, yeah.
The ABCs.
The AB, so it'd be ABC, and then like
yeah. How many was that?
Day, maybe
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
A for Arnold.
Yeah. So unpaid or underrated. Mini, you can do this one. Cow print jorts.
They've got to be underrated. Anything cow print is underrated.
I think I would rock those.
I am not picky with what I wear, even though I live 5 minutes from where I work and I have kids who come to me and they're like, I saw you at Walmart and you were wearing pizza shorts. And I go, yes, I was, because I own 2 pairs of shorts and one are pizzas and one are gummy bears. And so it's like, I can't wear these. I got jorts. I can't wear those now because I was explaining to Eddie that no one told me that not only do the jorts really show off your legs, they also fully enhance your dong bulge.
Yep.
And I can't be seen in public like this. But if I had some cow print ones, something to like or some camo ones, something to like disguise the outline, I could probably get by with that.
Disguise the outline. Yeah, so Mad Cow was desperately trying to get them to not desperately, that's a joke, but he was like, what if we did? So I think I would wear cow print shorts. I think I would. Oh, the NyQuil's going. Oh, I wish I had.
Oh, now we're starting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now we can really dive right in.
Down for what?
I think I'm going to go 2 more, if you guys are okay with that. Big Nate.
Yeah.
Unpaid or underrated Canadian cell phone reception in Columbus, Ohio.
Apparently it's good. It was specifically within the Arnold area. Because I was trying to find, so I was standing next to my friend Tom, who we'll get to probably after this segment. And Joey was waiting for Grizzly to show up, and so I was also standing there, and Tom had never seen him. Like, he didn't know who he was, which is insane to me. But I was like, here, I'll show you a video, and just would not load, which became a problem for me in many attempts. It was also why I was planning on taking a bunch of videos for the social, and I was like, I don't even have internet service. I'm not even dealing with this. But I'm like, yeah, I don't have any service. And Joey's like, I've had great service. And I was just like, you're not even from this country. How do you even have, what is going on?
Yeah, that's
Didn't
weird.
make any sense. But it was only parts of I don't know, whatever. It's dumb. So apparently it's underrated.
I'm trying to get into the Arnold at this point, right? And I'm standing there with the security and I'm like, hey man, I need to get my pass. And they're right there. The doors would open and I could fucking see Huck Finn. I was like, they're right there, man. So I pick up my phone and I phone Tanner, right to voicemail. Phone Eddie, right to voicemail. And then I'm like, the guy goes, there's no service here. And I went, no, I have full service here. There's no service for you. What?
I think
And
it's
that's-
mostly in that like building or whatever the roof's made out of. Interesting to note that I also called Joey and Kevin when I arrived because I just didn't want to also pull up the map again to remember where the Arnold was. And I left voicemails, I think, for both of them. To which I called Joey, and Joey just texts me back and says, "I'm not reading this, or I'm not listening to this." And I was just like, "Well, I guess Joey's not going to tell me where he is."
I told you exactly where I was.
Then I noticed he's dropped a pin.
Yeah, I'm not listening to this. I'm at the Strength Co booth.
Yeah, which didn't help me because I was just trying to get to the convention, and I was like, "Okay."
I was
well,
on
we'll
Do
get
Not
there
Disturb. You don't fucking phone me.
Yeah, I'm not listening to this.
I gotta say this though,
He says
Joey.
that pretty regularly in our thread.
Yeah,
You posted. Hold on, let me go to the exact post, and I quote: "We're about an hour out." And when you posted that, about an hour later, I posted a Discord a picture of your badge, and you never tried to message me. I had full service.
Oh, I was phoning. Like I was legit. Like it's urgent. I'm phoning. So that tells me that I just need your contact.
I was like, I had your badge sitting right there, like a foot away from me.
I know, but it was like one of those. The security guards are like, "You're not going anywhere." Like it was an urgent call. Okay.
One for all the marbles. Wrap it up.
Okay, unpaid or underrated. Actually, I wish Emmett was here for this one, to be honest with you. Minnie, being victim weight to Huck Finn.
Gosh, I don't want to anger Huck because I don't want someone coming after my shins at the next Arnold.
Okay.
But I mean, come on, guys, being victim weight to a guy who's like a rip 220. You got room to grow.
Kevin,
Get some more.
being victim weight to Huck Finn.
What's his thing for victim weight? Just being smaller than him?
So
Or under 200?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
it really was just a story I kind of wanted to tell a little bit, but I was hoping you guys remembered when it happened. I'm not. When we go offline, I'll tell this part of the story. But there was some point where like you, Kevin, had said, "Hey, man, go see if Huck wants to do this." And I turned to you and was like, "Huck is hammered. It is 5:00 at the Arnold. I am victim weight to Huck Finn right now. I'm not going over there for nothing." And then we turned around and like Tom was like overhead pressing some kid, like for reps. And then he tried to overhead press some like 300-pound dude, and they both fell on the floor with a disgusting slap. And it was just funny that I was like, I'm not going over there. I'm victim weight. And then within minutes, he was victimizing people.
Yeah. I was curious if that's what you meant, but I wasn't.
Yeah,
I didn't know
that
the
is what I
context of
meant
it.
by that. Yep.
Yeah, that was an insane experience to turn around and Huck's just overhead pressing a literal human at his booth at like 7:00 at night. And I'm like, what is going on?
I heard he said he overhead pressed someone that was like 6'10" or 7'2" or something, like a very
Yeah, it was
like,
a pretty tall dude.
But he was
I
a
heard
skinny.
that.
He was a skinny little fella.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was also a big dude that he looked like he tried to give him an RKO and just like
Yeah.
it didn't work out. There is one more I wanted to ask because I think I said we would talk about this and then we can start wrapping this recap up because people look tired. NyQuil scissor. Having a bath at the Arnold, unpaid or underrated?
Yeah, I need to hear that story.
Nate,
I'd say
that's you.
I'd say like probably underrated for sure. So Joey and we went over. OK Podcast was going to record, and I was like, if I wander over here, there's a chance that I'll get called onto this. So I'm going to wander over here to see what I can finagle up. And like Jen Thompson was like on stage with them, and I was like, well, I'm out. They ain't calling me. And so Joey was like, I'm going to go look for Mitch Hooper or something. And so we like wander off, and he goes over to the Barefoot booth and starts talking to them. But on the way over to the Barefoot booth, there's just a man getting out of a bathtub in the middle of the Arnold with just a towel on. And apparently you can just take baths at the Arnold now in public. I think it was
one of those like jacuzzi style tubs, right?
Those cold tubs, right? The
Listen.
hot cold tubs.
Listen, all I saw was a man just standing with only a towel on his waist in the middle of the Arnold. And I was just like, honestly though, like I made the joke there, but for real, like if I would have known I could take a bath at the Arnold, I would have just slept in my car. Like, why even get a hotel room at that point? Like, you can walk in, take a bath real quick, and then, get on with your day. So honestly, baths at the Arnold, underrated 100%. Like, think about the convenience. Like, you could save so much on room and board if you just show up, bathe real quick. Like, think about you just
It's still
competed.
going.
You're hot and sweaty. Just jump in, take a quick bath. Like, honestly, whoever is there, like, genius idea. I'm sure they cycle the water, Keith. Like, it's probably fun.
Literally 200,000 people in the same nasty ass water. It sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like a Saturday night to me.
Staph infection ready to happen.
Sounds like any Six Flags water park.
Yeah, have you never been to Kalahari, sir?
All right. So I think you guys passed unpaid and underrated while I was in the washroom.
Sick.
Good work. But, yeah.
Before you do that, I just wanted to say, and then in a twinkling, they found their abode, a place with enough room for a muscle-bound road. With a clinking of glasses and a hearty toast, the crew gather round, a feast they'd boast. A night after Arnold in Columbus town, a gaggle of silly geese, with stomachs full and renown, they feasted and reveled in their crew delight. Merry gains to all, and to all a good bite.
Well, I wish I could have finished with that. That would have made way more sense. But either way,
nothing I do makes sense, Joey. We've already been over this.
I know. Wow, God, you're so fun to hang out with. So just like the last thing to honestly point out, and I think I mentioned it like during the intro there, the Arnold is such a fucking lawless land. It is wild the stuff you can do and get away with. And like the first year I went, I was so weird. Like, do I bring booze? Like, how do I even get it in there? Nobody's checking. And
I was concerned about bringing water bottles into my first Arnold. I was like, can we bring water bottles? And like, people just Joey's rolling in with a cooler of beer.
Yeah, and
we asked police about that this year. Why they don't search? 2019, every fucking person walking in or out had to have your whole bag searched. And I talked to the cops there, and they said, well, we have stuff everywhere now. By the time you make it to this door, you've already been sniffed by like 5 different dogs and machines.
And okay, I get that, but like somebody's got to be like, you can't have a bath at the fucking Arnold. Like you can't like somebody's got to interject with some of this wild. And then the one time like I went to try on these pants, and I was like, oh, where's the thing? And they were like, oh, somebody's in there. I was like, I'll wait. And they were like, you're at a bodybuilding competition. Why are you afraid to be in your underwear? And I was like, fucking chaos. That's chaos. The Arnold is utter. Like, we're eating pizza and drinking beer and selling jorts. Like, it's a lawless, chaotic land.
Well, when I walked in with pizza,
it any other way.
I had my badge on, but the boxes of pizza were covering the badge.
Yeah,
and they didn't care. It's like, he's walking with pizza. Like he's here for a reason.
That's what the guy said to me. Like at some point, I was like, okay, I guess I have to go get my other ticket so that I can get in. And he goes, man, I can see you're not trying to rip us off. Like you're calling people, you're trying to get in. Like you're not fucking around. I was like, do you think I would have a cooler of like beer and ice trying to like scam my way into the Arnold? But again, like it's just a lawless world where you just walk around and you meet your heroes, you meet celebrities, you meet the people that make the equipment you love, but I don't think I'll miss it again as long as I'm lifting. I don't think I'll miss it again. So with that said, I want to shout out one thing in particular, Plate Snacks. They really hooked us up this week. Keith, you did a big order with them on our behalf. Indeed. They went out of their way to like give us a little extra leeway on a sale they were having. So remember, code unpaid is going to hook you up if you're doing that. But like that was dope of them. Like I was going through that, the most riveting conversation I've ever read. Yeah.
I was waiting for. I'm not reading all of that.
I'm not reading all of that. Fuck that.
Siri read it to him. Yeah, but shout out to Plate Snacks. It's you can just go to the website now and get like the decals printed, because previously Keith has said like you kind of had to like email back channel. So now there's like official spots on the website if you want to go get just like straight up custom vinyl stickers. You can do that there. So shout out to Plate Snacks. Use code unpaid and make our text back and forth worth money. We need to buy a speedboat.
I saw the notification of 10 messages and I hit it, and Siri, as I was driving, read you guys being like,
Now which?
what about this one? No, it's this one. Oh, okay. How
Siri.
about this?
Siri doll, right?
Siri doll reads more to me than you would probably imagine. Jesus, my phone is now mad at me. Okay, is there anything else you guys want to get to? Kevin, Minnie?
In opposition to your saying that the Arnold is a lawless state, I do want to bring up the fact that I might have watched someone get physically assaulted at the Arnold, but to enforce law, because the Arnold was over and they were kicking people out, and I watched a woman in like a 2-ankle skirt, like chasing down these people that did not have badges, and I was like, I kind of saw it out of the corner of my eye, like happening. And I was like, oh no, I don't have a vendor badge. And I knew this would happen, but we're trying to figure out where to go to dinner and I don't want to get kicked out yet. So I'm like, we'll talk about him in a second, but my buddy Tom, I was like just trying to shepherd him into like the crowd of like people with actual vendor passes. And I'm like slowly watching this exchange. But this woman is like destroying these people that are not leaving. And just like, I have never seen someone look so upset in their lives. And she finishes like kicking these people out and like turns to look at our crowd and like has the worst eye possible. And I make eye contact with her. And I was just like, I don't have a badge, and just like move my sling in front of my body, hide my yellow armband. And I was like, this is it. And I was like, I don't even know. Like, if this woman sees that I'm not a vendor, I might get shot. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I'm afraid for my life.
Yeah.
She was terrifying. And she's just wearing a skirt. Like, she's wearing a to-the-floor skirt. And I was like, I've never been so terrified of someone in a to-the-floor skirt in my life. But apparently, like, they're like, well, why are they standing there? And she's like, those people are all vendors, someone heard her say. And I was like, whew, and she, like, walked away. I've never felt, like, more terrified. But, like, you say there's no law, buddy, the law is you leave at 7 o'clock, because
they were trying to go into the Arnold and we were standing at the front trying to leave. Yeah. That's the difference.
Well, still, I was like,
I remember the law. That was pretty funny.
We found the law of the Arnold, and that was whatever that woman's name was. Shout out to her. She is the law.
You almost found out if you were victim weight.
Yeah, dude, she might overhead press me right out the door.
I've never used that phrase until that exact second, where it's like, I'm not going over there. I'm victim weight to him right now. He's going to throw me. And then he was throwing a dude. Like, I'm not going to be that dude.
Someone at work today just casually said mouthfeel, and I just busted out laughing. And like, everyone's looking at me like, why? And I'm just like, it's too long of a story, because like I've never heard that phrase, and now I hear it, and it's like, oh, this is good stuff.
All right.
Mouthfeel.
Yeah, definitely wrap this up. I'll be there next year. Yeah. Affiliate links. If we already talked about Plate Snacks, Obsidian Ammonia, Barbell Rescue, and Home Gym Con, please go ahead and use code UNPAID on all those. Help us buy that boat. Big Kevin, where can they find you this week?
Buy a speedboat. We're gonna buy a speedboat, not any boat. Go ahead, Kevin.
At Kevin_RSG_18 on Instagram.
Nice. What about you, Big Manny? Where they want you to find you on Twitch and all that?
You find me at Mini Action Jesus on Instagram, or twitch.tv/miniature action Jesus. I'm finally going to become unlazy. I have spring break next week, and I can get back into trying to lift again. No more hell divers. Still more hell divers, but we're going to lift too.
Is hell divers worth it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Big Nate, where you at, buddy?
For Jeff.
Currently I'm in my basement.
You know what I mean.
It's at Boston's Pizza.
Yeah, I'm at Boston's Pizza in Columbus. No, you can find me at glazesearch.com, Restaurant Retriever, TateSounds.com. Tom, I'm really sorry, dude. You're a great guy. We did not have time to cover who you are, why you were with us, with me specifically. Maybe next Arnold recap, we'll cover that. Hopefully you come along. But yeah, find me on Instagram, NateE561, whatever. It'll be in the show notes. Look at the freaking show notes. It's all there. I put all the freaking information in the show notes.
Big Joe, where you at?
Daggone it.
Still Joey _ Malesko MLE CZKO. You can find me there and only there. Don't forget our GoFundMe for our friend from the Minnesota Lifter Safety Club. That still should be in the show notes this week. Nate, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. There's he's like, more work. That's about it for me, man. That's about it for me.
All right, so this is Big Keith. You can find me at KeithHoneycutt73. Go follow my Orange Jim, the No Wine Cellar. Please go follow Unpaid and Underrated Podcast on Instagram. Check out the website, unpaidinternpodcast.com. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube. We're on that hunt for 69 followers, so get us there. And until then, we'll see you next Tuesday.